You know what? It looks like... So YouTube just redid itself.
Yeah.
There's a whole new YouTube studio, which I'm not going to lie to you. I hate it.
Yeah, it looks like crap already.
Yeah, it's just... Well, there's so much happening, you know? Now I can't even tell if that started before I wanted it to start or because there was a flash of black. But you're live now.
I'm live now. Hey, hi.
Hey.
Hi, Joey Noel. Hi, Greg Miller.
Take Tim's seat. Tim's seat.
Tim T. Tim T.
Where is she taking it?
Tim sits in different places for every show. Hard to keep track.
Mm.
You know?
I feel like it's just Screencast that he sits in a different place. But I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to figure out.
I mean,
How
I didn't
often?
really think about that too hard.
No one did.
Yeah.
So,
You know, that's where I'm fucking up, Joey.
yeah.
I'm
Least
thinking
of all
about it too
Tim.
hard.
Well, if Tim only sits in a different spot for Screencast, how come you didn't just sit in a different spot?
Because the host typically on all our shows sits to the left.
But they don't have to.
Well, I'm not going to break trend. I'm not going to also have Greg and Nick talking across from me. Because I feel like most of the conversation is usually aimed like that way when it comes to them too.
They should sit like...
Greg and Nick?
No, Tim and Nick.
Well, I'm
You
not
know
saying
them.
you have to be in the middle. You could be
I
on
have
the
to be
other side.
somewhere, Joey.
But you could be on the other side.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
There are...
That's the opposite of reading.
I know that this is a round table, but there are like primarily three sides. Would you agree, Imran?
Yes.
I don't like
sides
that.
to the
Yeah,
round
there's three
table?
sides. That, in the middle.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
very Last Supper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the idea. We actually based it off of that.
Did we really?
Yeah, Joey. You weren't in the meetings.
The controller does
I
not feel
can't
bad.
imagine that you
No, it feels good.
were like, yes, the design inspiration, the Last Supper.
The two inspirations were Last Supper and dogs playing poker.
But that was
man.
more of an atmosphere thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we nailed it, frankly.
Yeah, dogs playing poker is absolutely how I would define kind of funny and
Oh
fine art.
yeah, 100%.
Kind of fine art.
My dog Nick says Greg sits second from the right when he hosts the Kind of Funny podcast.
No, I don't think so.
Does he not?
I don't watch any
Yeah,
content.
because Nick sits on the end.
Does
Does
he
Nick-
host the Kind of Funny podcast?
Greg?
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to any other shows.
How do you not pay attention? People are talking about the video being framey. Kevin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
We're hosting on Stadia.
Probably because, we're playing Stadia.
All right. Everyone calm down,
I feel
okay?
like you're spoiling.
No,
Things.
Stadia's out.
No, you're spoiling what you're talking about on the show, Fran.
You just did. I was talking about
Fran?
a relevant topic.
Fran?
It'd be like if I said half like
Fran?
Alex. That doesn't mean we're
Stop
talking about
blaming
it
Joey.
on
It's
the
your
show.
fart.
Kevin,
Fault.
fix the frames. And did you just say fart?
I did.
That was my version of this, but with what you were playing.
I see. It was a shutdown. You could have just done this.
Yeah, but I liked
Could've
flipping
shut me
that
down.
instead.
Do I have weak baby wrist or is this like...
Weak baby. Rich.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Oh,
It
you
is
got
awkward.
you,
dude.
No, it is. I do too, though.
I could eat...
What? You got great wrists.
Oh, thanks, Kevin.
Show me them sexy wrists, everybody.
It's the big hands.
Everybody,
Look at
yeah.
the big
They're really not.
hands.
They're
Like,
not
like a
what gets
puppy
me.
that's gonna grow
They're
big.
like
Multiple
very small,
wrists.
actually.
Yeah.
Why are you zooming in on our wrists?
Because you got the
I
sexy
cut
wrist,
to
that's
it.
what
Yeah,
I'm
those are
saying.
nice wrists.
I could be a wrist model.
Those big old things.
I never knew. It's like when George finds out he's a hand model.
Yeah.
On Seinfeld, and he just never knew.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, your
Could be you.
hands
That
are
could
so
be you.
creamy and
Creamy.
I don't
Hey,
like
dude, see
that.
that?
I hate that.
I
Oh,
like.
Greg, can you log in?
Mom, make it work.
Use your
passcode. Joester.
Yeah.
Wow, Steve, that
I guess I
sucks.
shouldn't. Never mind. Wait. Has creating the streams been difficult, or is it?
It's just a little bit complicated in the layout.
Now back to Fran's wrists.
Man, yeah, that's a wrist.
It's also like watch. Yeah, it's like watch modeling. Should I put it on like the
No,
coffee?
nobody cares about
in
your
like
watch.
you were just chilling out, guys. It's a watch ad. This is a pretty good watch ad, I have to say. Send it to Tissot.
I miss Home Shopping Network.
I do.
It's
too.
still around.
You were
Yeah, I
always
don't have
on the
cable,
edge
so I
of
don't
your
have to see
seat
anything.
No
for
QVC.
like what's the next item and the countdown timer.
Dude, we're so old, nobody else remembers
Nobody
that. You know what I
knows
mean?
that,
That I do remember that. We're like, oh, cool, they're doing baseball cards.
the next
What's
item is it going to be
baseball?
those Ginsu knives?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I've been
yeah.
waiting to see that demo.
I love whenever they have gaming stuff on there and it's always just super fucking wrong.
Totally,
Everything
yeah,
say
they
is
have
just
no idea
like-
what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Which then makes me worried about the knives. Did they know what they were talking about the knives?
absolutely not. Look at that horse.
Question.
What a beautiful horse. Was it a picture of a horse and they were talking about a butterfly?
It was a butterfly.
Okay.
I spaced out for a second. Why are we attracted to this horse?
We're
It's a nice
attracted to
horse.
I
It's a
missed
nice
that.
horse, Kevin.
It's a gray horse.
All I want.
Not a fan of horses.
Yeah, it's now stuck in my head too.
Just seeing how fast like the buffer works and
HSN is watchable online,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, nice.
it's like a
It's
1080
always-
Kevin
videos.
Ace X says, Greg, did you platinum
It's
Fallen
less.
Order?
It is
I just
less.
got my 1,000 game score on
But
last
this
night.
works fine.
No, I'm working on it, but obviously this trip to London is a wrench in the works. And I a friend in town.
If only you had a way
That's
to
kinda
stream
what's
it.
going on.
If only
Stadia,
it could
give
come
that
with
frame,
me.
You know,
We'll talk about that today. Won't we, cool, Greg? Hell yeah, we will.
it's good though. Good. You mean I was testing your Wi-Fi back here?
How's it working?
Fine. You know, when you seek, I think that's the difference. Is like games. I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, YouTube's different because it knows what it's sending you next at all times. Because I was trying to figure out, like, why does YouTube 1080p seem to run fine, even though the bit rate's a bit lower, versus, like, how would Stadia vary? But now I think about it, like, YouTube always knows exactly what it's sending next to you, where in a game it has to encode it and prep it, and so there's going to be, I guess that's where some of it's coming from.
And that's where the teraflops come into play.
That's where you're terrible.
That's what we need them for,
How do I get back to
Joey, are you
xCloud?
excited to take care of Portillo? This is, again, as your reminder you're taking care of
No,
Portillo.
I know I'm taking care of Portillo. Yes, I am.
Good.
I've had a good.
Oh, yeah, you guys are going down. Oh, wait, Governor.
I'm a little bit sad that you guys get back early because I was going to take Portillo to Thanksgiving. I'm
Oh,
sure that would have been great.
You guys would have spoiled him and fed him stuff, and he would have
Yeah.
pooped everywhere.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
I'm sure that would have gone over
Everywhere?
really well.
Everywhere.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't seem great.
You guys are back before Thanksgiving?
We get back on Thanksgiving.
Nice.
It runs better back here, Greg.
Well, you're closer to the Wi-Fi. You just got a wall now between you. Then.
No, there's Wi-Fi points too. So
Yeah, but that sucks. I mean, they don't help.
Yeah, I mean, your Wi-Fi sucks here, Kevin. Let's be honest.
I mean, our internet sucks.
Yeah, your
Fuck
internet
you,
sucks.
Comcast.
Are we
Fuck you,
blaming
Comcast.
Kevin for it?
No.
No, we're blaming Comcast. See
blaming
how I
Comcast.
switched it over? Wi-Fi points.
Now,
Yeah,
Joey,
works-
there's things
works
we
fine
need to
back
know
here.
about the house. All right.
Okay, what's going on?
Woke up today.
Right.
I didn't. I woke up today. I went out, and then Jen, when she woke up to feed Porty, she found a wet spot in front of the dishwasher. So it
Why
looks
is it always the dishwasher when I stay at your
I don't know, right? Because there was the one above that one time, right? So we put in a maintenance request for them to come fuck with the floor. She ran the dishwasher today, kept an eye on it, no water. So it might have just been a fluke overflow.
Like there was a glass with water that spilled.
No. I mean,
No.
I think something came out of the side of the dishwasher. I don't think it was something inside the dishwasher.
Okay.
That's pretty
Perfect.
much it. You know the
That's
rest.
it.
Yeah.
No other crazy things. No other weird notes for watering all of Jen's plants.
No, she took care of that today. She went around the house taking care of all the plants.
How often do you need to water plants?
It's a great question, Kev.
You know?
I don't
Depends
listen to
on the
my
plant,
wife,
I
and I
think.
don't know.
Yeah. Some
Like
don't.
a cactus, I'm pretty sure you don't have to ever water.
That's true.
Most
She wants to
succulents
try
you-
to. She once tried to get me in, Double Jeopardy, where she was gone for like 2 weeks or whatever in Montreal for work, and like on a Tuesday, and I was like, and don't worry, I'm gonna water your plants today. She's like, you've watered them before, because it was on the calendar. A reminder. She's like, you watered them the other day, right? I'm like, no, it wasn't on the calendar. She's like, oh my god, it was. But and I went back. She had said it at like 4 a.m. on a Sunday. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't see this, honey. Like, don't try to. I refuse to take blame for this. I'll say when I screw something
Did
up.
they die?
No, they were fine. Plants are resilient.
Traumatized.
They are.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Resilient.
Think of all the things we do in the fucking world, and they're just out there thriving.
If somebody were house sitting for me, I would probably like set up some sort of mystery for them. Like follow these clues. Yeah.
Sure.
It's too late. They can't do it now.
Do you
You'd be
always
surprised.
bring a mouse with you?
My Hunt a Killer
never
packages
noticed.
are there. You could play
Oh,
one
it's
of
way
those.
better.
What's up?
I said, oh, it's way better.
I can't use trackpad.
It's awful.
I'm a mouse boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What are the mouse? How do you feel about the little thumb? The little IBM little red.
The trackball?
Yeah.
No.
I don't like
it's
it.
Not
It's
a
the worst
trackball.
thing in the world.
It's not a trackball.
Then what is it?
It's
It's a
a.
nub.
Embarrassment.
It's
Oh, you're
There are
talking
names
about
for
the
it
nub.
that I wanna
actually
say
thought,
on stream.
I thought you were talking about the trackball in the mouse.
What is it?
The little thing. What people
The
colloquially call it.
nib. What do they call it? The clit?
The clit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh.
Kevin, off the air, I'll show you what a clit is.
I was like, yeah, I
On your
heard of
body?
that.
I was gonna say, read into that one however you want.
Oh, my goodness.
Mr. Yasman asks if we're gonna see a shirtless Santa in the Kind of Funny office during
Ew.
Christmas.
Gross.
Santa.
Don't-
I'll let you know I have a
baby.
different outfit planned. Different outfit for December.
An
Is
outfit
Watto gonna
I
come out for
almost
Christmas,
got.
Greg?
Did we talk about this yet?
Watto does whatever he wants, but it's a great idea, and I hope you remind him that he should probably wear a Santa hat at some
he
point in
should.
December, because that'd be
He
very
should.
funny and enjoyable.
Is
I'm
it when
sorry,
I-
Kevin from kindoffunny.com, what did you ever say?
I almost spilled my coffee.
Surprise you
Well, I
have for
did,
everyone.
technically,
I
a
almost
little
did the same thing, and I only stopped myself because I was like, "Nah, this is Miller.
Greg will do
This is
it.
Miller.
But we could have done it together. You know what I mean? We could have been like twins.
This is your
The
joke.
movie Twins.
This is your joke, and if they had another option, you know,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Another color set. Yeah,
I
yeah.
would have gone with that immediately.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Is it one I have to wear?
You know, the rules aren't there yet on how. I think maybe just the hat. Maybe if
Okay.
we have a Santa hat going like we did a couple years ago.
We'll establish it very soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
After
All
Thanksgiving.
options are on the table.
and none of them at
That's
all.
just the coffee. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. You're fine.
You spill coffee?
Just a little.
Oh, you need some help? You want some Windex?
No.
You got any sweetener in that bitch?
Nah.
All right.
I like it black.
Elf Watto. That'd be a good Christmas DLC for the small Watto game.
Yeah, it would be. Also, I mean, it's not too late for Fallen Order either.
Yeah.
You know?
So, okay. You've been watching Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
You saw that, like, there was
New
the
episode tomorrow.
there was the episode with the Jawas and all that.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Is it me, or do Jawas and EGAD have the exact same language?
What's he got?
EGAD from Luigi's Mansion.
Oh.
It is the exact same thing.
Similar.
Suka, suka. Yeah, like
Well,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
I see where you're going with it, but no.
I'm
I think
I'm
the
asking, what,
intonation is very different.
is EGAD a Jawa? Is what I'm trying to get.
Frankly,
at.
I think you're being racist right now.
I mean,
Wow.
yes.
Whoa. Whoa.
If you think about it,
But there are
it's the
certain
same thing.
there
What
are
you sound
certain
like
there
a-
are certain races we're allowed to be racist about, and
Jawas are
Fictional
one of them.
Jawas are one of
Jawas
them.
are one of them.
Now that still makes you a fictional racist. I wouldn't want
I
to
don't
be.
mind being a
any-
fictional
I
racist.
don't, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, at least
That's
be
like
a real
saying,
one.
you know, like, man, like, it was, like, let's say a
Doubt.
bad wizard exists, and
Okay.
you kind of like his you know his
His
deals
snake
about.
nose. His snake nose.
Yeah, maybe you think that's okay. Maybe you want to put his mark on your body. I mean, that's not.
Are we talking about Gargamel?
That's a real Slytherin move.
Oh, okay.
It makes sense. It all
I
adds
will
up.
kick
It
you in
could
the
have been
shins, you
Gargamel.
tall son of a bitch.
I'm just saying, man.
Wait,
the
Gargamel's
shame.
from Smurfs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just make-
And you wanted to eat the Smurfs?
Yeah, that was where it started.
Okay.
How does
We
that-
kind of buried that after a while, and he just was chasing Smurfs all the time.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
He's a Smurf chaser.
Yeah.
It's like a
I
cloud
think he would
chaser.
have got over it.
How you doing, friend?
Not bad.
The Smurf chaser does sound like a fetish, though.
It does.
It's back into Control. I got to finish that.
Here, how to
It's great.
Out of control.
I was right at the end, basically.
Which is the
I
worst
think
part
it
of the
lasts
game.
Like 30%. Really? We'll see.
Okay,
The
there's-
very,
Well, actually, I
yeah, the
don't know if
very
I'm at the end.
final.
I can
is
tell you
that.
that I have not gotten to this maze, but I know that it's
Oh.
coming. And so
maze is
that
very
like
cool.
is that like 80% or like
that is, I think, the maze I would say is 90% of the game.
I figured. Okay. That's how I'm feeling. I'm like
And then,
almost
like,
there.
that
I'm
part is
gonna-
very cool, and everything after that kind of sucks.
Hey, don't try to plant your bias in my
Bro,
brain.
that
Yeah.
plant
Okay.
biased is in there. You know what I
You
mean?
can't get it out now, buddy.
And what I heard about plants is they're resilient.
Exactly. Audrey 2's.
It's gonna be hard to get out.
Nick should cosplay as Gargamel, does he not? Is
He does
not
that every day.
Yeah, I assume that was just his general style.
That's
he actually
every
cosplays
day.
as the cat.
Oh, he does
Yeah.
cosplay as the
It's
cat.
That would make
really
sense.
upsetting. Imran, have you seen that yet?
I saw descriptions of it, and I know what a sexy cat suit looks like.
No. But then you haven't.
Wait, has he actually?
What,
Because
like,
I've seen
it-
Nick do like cat impressions, and it's
Fran,
pretty
I'm trying
amazing.
To, Fran, I'm trying to explain.
Fran, there's a
something,
conversation
Imran.
happening.
I
No,
was asking you a
please.
question about what you're talking about. That's fine.
I know, but
Yeah, you
but
sounded
let me just
dumb.
get there, bud.
It's one of his trademark fan eruptions.
Thought he
This is not testing anyone's patience at all.
The
I hate him so much.
it's an attack.
nocturnal Fran eruptions. You know what I'm saying?
What the frick? Jesus.
It's an attack on all your senses when you actually have Nick or whatever the hell he calls the cat.
The cat.
No, it has a name.
Oh,
now.
it does have a name. It's like
Meowser.
Jane or something. Like it's something that makes it
It's-
even
yeah,
creepier than it
and
needs
it's
to
just-
be.
You hear the little bell and you know that like something's gonna rub
You
against
just
you
know
that you
it's
don't
fucking
want.
coming.
Thank God for that fanny pack though, because it hides
Yeah.
all the things you don't want to see.
I'm excited to never see this and to avoid it for the rest of my life.
You will.
Pretty
Honestly,
sure I've seen
there's
it.
no avoiding it.
I definitely
It'll
feel
make you
I've
stronger
seen it.
though,
Uh-huh.
emotionally.
Yeah, I imagine.
You know.
After the PTSD wears off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll just get text messages.
Oh no. Oh no.
God. Oh, no.
That's a very wide
When you-
cleavage window.
When you hear that, that is a very wide cleavage window.
Oh, Imran, you say things so.
That's nightmare fuel
Oh
right there.
man, I love it. All right, Kev, you ready to start this
I'm
thing?
ready to start this.
I did
guys.
send Assets a link that I'm going to ask you to pull up at some point in the near future.
He's in a green tunic.
I was gonna ask you to pull it out at some point, Kevin.
Link.
Be ready.
I get it.
You got it?
I did get it.
Yeah, on it, Tim.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No problem. No problemo. Lame-o.
Is there any
I like it.
slimo? Whenever you're ready.
Cool. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 248 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games with the future of video games in his hands.
Oh, it's just me streaming some games.
Greg Miller.
Now, Tim, while you were topping off your water or coffee or whatever the hell you were doing, the question proposed on the pre-show was simple. Is it okay to be racist to fictional racists? Or racist.
Yeah, fictional
racist to
racist.
fictional
You gotta
racist. Because Fran
No.
just doesn't like Jawas.
That
Is
was
that
him.
okay?
Imran said that, not me. That was.
I mean,
he
it's
doesn't
a
like
hard
Jawas.
no, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's what we
no,
all said, too.
racism
We were like,
is
Fran,
bad.
don't be like that.
This is
Fran.
why you should watch the pre-show, and it was not me. I was calling out fictional racism. I said, you don't want to be any kind of racist.
Fran doesn't stand by that. No.
That's right.
Fran is
I was
leading the
merely
charge
trying-
Fran
against-
Mirabella is the least racist person I know.
I will be damned if you're going to talk about Jawas and
would-
Professor Egad.
Yeah, I was just trying to draw the line that everyone else was already thinking between Jawas and EGAD.
Oh,
have
they
to watch the
sound
pre-show.
similar.
There you go. See?
Okay.
They do. Put a
Also-
little head on them.
Fictional racist.
No, that's not racist.
Their intonation's completely different.
Oh
No,
my
it's not.
God.
Nothing about being. Is it fictionally racist? That's.
I'm not fictionally racist. I'm Tim Gettys. That's Fran.
What a way to start a show, everybody.
We have the former informer Imran Khan joining us once again. If you want to get that thrilling pre-show, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. You also get this show early. You get the show ad-free. You can watch live as we record it. So many options. If you don't want to do that, unlike our Patreon producers, Angel Gutierrez and James Hastings, a.k.a. Good Human Beings,
Extra
you can just wait and watch it for free later on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or roosterteeth.com, or you can listen to it on your favorite podcast service. We like to give you options. So however you want to consume us, you may. Fran,
Fran, how do you want to be consumed?
I'll let Tim handle that.
Cool, we're on
He
the
doesn't have a lot of
forecast.
ideas about being
I'll
consumed.
consume you
Dipped
any
in
day,
chocolate, nibbled on by Jawas.
Fran. We like to keep the options open. You can go to kindoffunny.com/gamescast. You're wrong as you're watching the show. If we mess anything up, and then the following week we will let you know what we got wrong. Imran, I feel like, were you not on the show?
I was not on
week?
last week.
Then, so we have one from the week before for you,
Oh, boy.
and then we have one from
Oh,
when we
boy.
did the PlayStation
They're
debate.
really piling up.
Lauren says on episode 246, Imran said that Tomb Raider 4 was on PlayStation 2 under the name Angel of Darkness. While Angel of Darkness was the first in the series on PS2, Angel of Darkness is actually Tomb Raider 6.
What?
Oh, I missed two
Counting
entire Tomb
everything.
Raider
I
games.
was right there with you. I thought it was 4.
He was pretty
Blowing
close.
my mind. There was Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation and Tomb Raider Chronicles that were on PlayStation 1.
I don't know that I've ever played either of those games.
I definitely haven't.
Huh. Interesting.
Out of sight.
Out of mind.
Thank you, Greg. Maxwell Broom said, I believe this past week, the episode
Thank you.
with the iconic PlayStation games, y'all were discussing difficulty in games, specifically Death Stranding. Fran said something like, just start on hard and you can go down if you need to. When I was watching a friend start, it specifically said you can't change difficulty after starting. So that's a no-go for Death Stranding.
Okay, if you're going to write
No,
in
you
too,
can. Because
you're wrong.
I definitely did.
Make sure that you have the facts, because otherwise it confuses us all. Because see, Tim only played for several hours. He wouldn't know for sure. You absolutely can change it down. I mean, I've done it, and so
You can't change
Good
back up, I
notes.
don't think.
Yeah, you can.
Can you?
What it does is it resets you at the beginning of the last mission that you're on. And it just resets you there, so it's fine. So I'm not sure where that information came from.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
we're
you
in
for
our
writing in,
first
though.
You're Wrong-a-thon.
You're wrong.
Where you're wrong into you're wrong, but we're not sure who's wrong and who's right. We're going to need some further clarification.
No, we don't. Death
You go to
Stranding. Right here.
kindoffunny.com/gamescast. You're wrong to let us know the definitive answer about Death Stranding. Can you change your difficulty and then change the difficulty back?
I love the promo, but that's you don't believe me. I take issue.
It's not I don't believe
80
you.
plus hours.
I'm with Team
Andy!
Fran. You're not a racist,
Are you loading
fictional
up
or
Death Stranding?
otherwise.
Okay.
Andy will answer this for us later.
Yeah, at some
A
point.
fellow Death Stranding. fan.
Yes.
Anyway, seriously, thanks for writing it. It is helpful.
And today we are brought to you by Upstart, Trojan Condoms, and Logitech.
What?
Yeah, dude. We'll talk about all that later.
That all sounds like
That would
that
excite
sounds like
you.
a good night.
I know, right? There you go, man. But first, I want to
Got
start
my loan approved. Got my condoms ready.
wanna
Gonna
start
type on this keyboard.
with a
I didn't
little
think you said loan for a second. Anyway.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order updates.
Yeah.
We did our full review last week, and Ron, you missed out on that conversation.
I did miss out on it.
So we had to have you
Yep.
back here. We have Barrett and Greg working on their 100% there.
That's right.
Fran, since last week, where you at?
Oh, I finished it. Little Jedi Grand Franster.
Hell yeah.
So I'm trying to throw Fran into it.
So you stuck to Grandmaster?
Actually, I did Master about 50% through, and then I moved on to Grandmaster, and we can talk about the difficult stuff later if you want, but I finished
You
it.
went up to Grandmaster?
Yes, sir.
Oh, big dick swinging. Last week, though, we ended the show with a little Metacritic prediction.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this
going on.
part.
Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Greg.
Yeah.
It gets complicated. So we had Ash Paulson on last week as well. He and Greg both came in at 81. All right. Barrett came in at 84. I came in at 85. Andy at 86. Kevin at 88. Fran at 89.
Wow.
Now the Metacritic score.
Multi-platform game as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where this gets a little complicated. If we're going by PlayStation 4, like I imagine Greg Miller would,
I'm going by whichever one I won.
PlayStation 4.
I did?
Nailed it right
81?
on. 81 on
PS4.
PlayStation 4. Xbox One is at an 82. And PC is at an 83.
Huh.
Yeah.
Presumably, we'd have to just average the 3 scores together.
See, I didn't think about playing that way, but regardless, I'm way off. But next time around the block.
So, I mean, yeah. So no matter how you shake it, though, nobody guessed 82 or 83. So
Yeah.
it's between Greg and Barrett.
Yeah.
Oh,
But you
retroactively,
did
I'm going to make my guess 82 or 83.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we
Everyone
go.
won. Holy shit. It's crazy.
Damn, who would've
It's crazy how that all works. But anyways, back to Fallen Order. Imran, let's get your impressions on it.
I'm talking about, I want to say 8 hours in. I've done a decent amount of the game, not nearly enough, I would say, to like make it a full review. But I think I'm right before you get the pull powers for the Force, or because I'm seeing all these ropes that are like, hey, these are the things that you could probably access if you could just pull them down.
Yeah, it's not much of a spoiler. I would
Yeah.
assume
For some
that's
reason,
how
you're
you-
like a shitty Jedi that just can't like push this a little further. But I really like the game a lot, but it is immensely frustrating in how unpolished it is. Like I was telling, I think I said this on Games Daily this morning, but like I shoved a stormtrooper into a wall and it just got lost in the wall.
What platform?
Xbox One X.
Yeah, see, there's your problem, everybody. But
I assumed
Is that the problem?
consoles are part of it, but we'll get to
Oh, okay.
Okay, I assumed
83.
honestly that would be the best version because like
Me too.
marketing
that.
wise.
Over PC?
Oh, maybe not. But
Anyway, sorry.
I went for that one. It is a very, very glitchy game. I've had a number of hard locks. I've had a number of things that like
Hard locks?
yes,
Jeez.
like I will be going up to a thing and I'll start a battle and like just as the lightsaber starts swinging, zzz, like that kind of thing.
That's crazy. Never happened to me.
I appreciate the ways in which it is a Souls-like game, but I think I'm not going to say like From Software is perfect in design or anything. I think they have a very strong basis for why they put things the way they do. So like there's a couple of times in Fallen Order where I don't know if these are meant to be hard fights or they're just fights that I find very hard, but I get to a thing where I'm dying. Frog, stuff like that.
Supposed to.
Like when you first get onto the Darth Maul planet and you first meet those Night Brothers, like getting there each time, like you die, you head back to the ship. To get back to that fight, even though there is a shortcut, you have to climb this like Uncharted style climbing segment, which is like you cannot do this any faster. Why is this why was there not a better bonfire option nearby here? Those are the kinds of things that are like they should have put a bit
In a group of enemies, too, and like it's just it feels very different to me than like the reason you play Dark Souls and Sekiro and that is because of the intensity, but it's polished around that.
Right.
Where this like drops it in and then all of a sudden it can be frustrating. But I'd agree with you. There's times where you just like die, and certainly playing on Master and Grandmaster, you're like, I gotta go all the way back. Thankfully, I love exploration games, so I have a lot of different stuff to say on that, but I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, no excuse, they needed to come up. Well, it's weird because when you first die, though, right, you do just... Or no, wait, if you run out of all your stims is when you reset. But if you fall off a ledge and stuff, it spawns you right there.
right. If your life bar goes out, then you're done.
Yeah.
you're dead.
Which is actually really
like,
nice.
Yeah.
Is that meaning when you jump, and if you make that dumb Uncharted, didn't see the camera
Or if
where
you,
it was
it's
going,
not if
mistake.
you make a mistake, it's if the game decides
that's
you
what I
didn't
mean,
make
yeah.
the
Yeah.
jump.
You didn't grab the
Exactly.
rope. Whoops.
The camera
sorry.
was
Pixel.
wonky.
Perfect.
So I like that it, boom, it just, okay, sorry, we'll drop you right back where you were. Which that has caused some game-breaking bugs.
Which brings
Thanks, I know.
this is not an issue I'm assuming with you on PC because I assume you're playing on an SSD. But fuck those respawn times. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
They are like, I've timed it once. It was 45 to 50 seconds.
Oh, wow. I never had that.
I don't
long.
have that
It's
problem
just
on
the
PC.
frequency, because I keep dying.
Yeah.
That makes it really annoying.
Like, it is straight up pull a phone out and look at Twitter, Tom. Like, why is there's certain things of, why is there a button that you have to press to respawn sometimes? Like, what is the point of that? Why not
It's
just,
on brand for them.
why not just, because it is
They have
respawn.
to say
Yes.
respawn.
You got to find a spot for
Like,
it.
why does it just start loading up there? Why does it have to reload this far back? What is it doing in this process? Like, Dark Souls, Bloodborne was pretty bad about this, but Bloodborne eventually got fixed. So, are they going to fix this one? Dark
would
Souls
think
is
so.
pretty immediate about it.
hope.
Yeah.
I hope so because these I hate to hear it. These
Yeah.
bugs.
Yeah, hate to
I hate
hear
to
it.
hear it.
Glad you guys got it. Watch the kind of funny Halloween pay-per-view if you haven't. A lot
They
of-
put out a patch this week. Do anybody? I don't even.
I don't. There was an update for the Xbox One. I'm not sure when it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fixed that because I
This
played
is one of those
last
ones
night.
that I've seen throughout the week for Games Daily. People being like, "Oh, there's a Star Wars patch coming," but I'm never seeing what the news is. That's just coming.
One
Yeah.
day ago, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order just got a performance patch on PC. There's new hope for consoles.
Okay.
So what's it? And I think we should get into that stuff later and let Imran finish. But God,
We have a
I'm-
patch that will follow on Xbox One and PS4 due out this week.
Yeah, when you
Okay,
guys
cool.
talked about it last week and some of these glitches, you were like, "I'm hovering off the ground
Yeah,
at
yeah.
times," and there's loading.
If there
issues.
is a ground.
and I was like, I had played for like 10 hours at that time. Yeah, and I was like, I didn't run into that. I ran into almost strictly Uncharted type design stuff, which is just it's not polished enough. It's not bad though for me, but it's like, oh, it wanted me to go here. I guess I didn't see that, and it was a little frustrating. But then I figured it out and moved on. But glitch wise, I actually experienced basically nothing on PC and a nice PC setup as well. So anyway, it sounds like consoles really brought down the enjoyment of the game because I have a lot of I'm gushing about it.
Yeah.
I think
No,
I'm
I'm enjoying the game quite a bit. It's just like stuff like that. Stuff like I don't think the design of Dark Souls is compatible with a story. Okay, so what I'm getting out of that, like Dark Souls, I'm not rushing any sort of particular plot points to get further to find out what happens next because there is no real plot to that game. It's me discovering the lore and finding like the bosses and such that like exist
Skill points.
parallel to that lore. With Fallen Order, I'm like, okay, I want to know what happens next to the story and to Cal and to the Wookiees and the Kashyyyk and all that stuff, but I'm dying a lot, so I'm not like inching forward because I want to rush forward and play, like see what happens next. So I kind of want, like, for me, the design of those two things is incompatible.
So that's weird because I am on the opposite end where the Dark Souls stuff. Anytime I don't think I've ever even tried Dark Souls, but Bloodborne, like when I gave
Right.
that a shot, it's just like to me. I'm like I'm not invested in this, so it's not worth the learning curve.
Right.
Whereas with Fallen Order, I was like, I want to know what happens next. I want to care about this character. I want to feel like I'm growing. So it all kind of felt like it was moving forward with purpose,
Right.
which kind of felt like the next cutscene was the reward.
Right, because Bloodborne is like, it's a game where the story is you learning more about the world, and you can't do that with Star Wars, because we know everything that's about the world in Star Wars for the most part.
Metachlorians.
Midichlorians, obviously. But I want to know what happens next with Cal Kestis and like with Saw Gerrera, which, by the way, I think an underrated joke in that game is that when you meet Saw Gerrera, it's on the forest path.
Of course, man.
That's
You gotta
a pretty good
Forrest
or pretty good
Whitaker
joke. Yeah.
And it's
But-
Forrest Whitaker in the game, which is
Is it?
insane.
Okay, I was trying
That's
to
what
figure
Bear
out,
was
like,
telling me.
huh.
Like, wow, good
Yeah,
for you
like
guys.
Disney money.
Yeah,
But
greasy money, baby.
But I want to see more about the story, and it like, makes me rush things I shouldn't rush. That I should let these stormtroopers and monsters fight it out.
So just for clarity, are you playing on story mode?
No, I'm playing on whatever it said
Jedi
like
Knight, the second one?
Yeah, the one up
so
from
like,
that.
I'd call that normal mode versus story
That's what I
mode. It's
assume.
easier.
Because like when they names difficulties like that, I'm never sure. Like, well, it's like you've played some action games. I'm like, yeah, I have played some action games,
I have actually.
but I'm actually finding this game pretty tough.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
it's
it's really tough.
the euphemism of story mode, by the way. They don't want to call it easy mode anymore, and they don't want to call the other one normal mode. I find games are getting away from those two terms for.
But if that's
whatever
if
reason.
that's the way you want to make the game, like if that's the ideal way for the game to be played, calling it story mode turns me off.
Really,
You see, I don't think it is the ideal way for the game to be played. But I
I
asked
like the
because-
naming conventions. I think that it more adequately describes what the experience you're getting out of it is. Where
The fact that they show the parry windows too and how aggressive
Yeah.
people are. And
I feel
like
like
that
this
too.
game does a very good job of making you understand what it means,
It does.
and even playing Jedi Knight, it being as hard as it is. being only just once, being the normal of this game, I feel like it gives me an appreciation for the higher levels where I'm
Right.
seeing what it actually does to the parry and to the different
it's
things.
really
It kind of comes down to their intentions for it, because like this is the thing that pissed me off about Halo too, was when you go like to the legendary difficulty, it's like this is the way Halo is meant to be played. It's like, no, that's too hard for me. As someone who's not really into Halo, like that is
Heroic.
more difficult than I want to do. So, but I'm also feeling bad, like, oh well, this is the designer's intention, so is this the way I'm supposed to be playing
Right.
it? So like, if story mode, like it defaults to story mode from the beginning. Like from when you first choose your difficulty.
Right.
So it's like, does that mean this is actually the normal mode, or is the one up the one they want
It
me to
means
play?
if you just want to enjoy the story, and that's how I take it. But back to the question I was going at was, you were saying the checkpoints were the problem, but now it almost sounds like you're saying the fights are just like kind of too difficult at times. So which is it?
It's kind of a combination of both. Like,
Okay, so if they fix the checkpoints, that's not all of it for you. You actually think the design?
I don't
the
mind.
combat
I don't
gets-
mind it being too hard.
Okay.
If it could be way harder, honestly, but
Yeah, because you've played Souls games, which surprises me. Because on
Yeah.
story mode, I didn't try it. I have to imagine it's just be patient. Like they'll just fall over.
right, I platinum pretty much. I platinum Bloodborne, platinum
Right, right,
Sekiro. Like these are not games that are impossible for me. I tend to find this one a little bit
So-
more frustrating in
Yeah.
general, just because I feel like I'm less in control of my character than I want to
Yeah,
be.
I'm intentionally sticking on this point for a second because it leads, I think, eventually, and I'm going to wait to get to it. But like this game is all about progression, and you are on the low end of the curve,
Right.
so you're frustrated for a reason. That's what I would say. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but
What's up,
it
Kevin?
intentionally leaves things very vacant for quite some time. So when you get your next power, it's like, oh my God. So you're missing, I don't know where you're at, but I think you're missing the right skill choices and progression that it's sort of saying you need to, maybe you should go somewhere else even, you know.
I wanted to chime in
for
because
it.
a lot of what Imran's saying, I totally agreed at originally. I think that when we did this, when we
Last
actually
week.
were doing the review, last week, I had just gotten past this, and I was having a lot of trouble for the first like 6 or 8 hours of the game, just not feeling like all the flaws you're saying right now that I totally agree. Where it's like the mechanics, fighting people doesn't feel awesome, and
You're not equipped.
jumping around also kind of sucks. But like, my update is I am so in with this game
Okay.
that like once I like got past, I think it really was getting force pull, and there was a little bit like I was also strengthening my character, so I felt a lot stronger too. The combination of having
Enough
force-
stim for health. And
Yeah.
the
Force
combination
power,
of
et cetera.
everything really like I felt a jump in
You get over the hump.
my characters. Yeah, exactly. To the point where like I completed the game, love the story, awesome. The ending is phenomenal. Do it as quick as possible so you don't get it spoiled, but you know it's kind of late for that now.
No, don't spoil.
No, I'm not going to spoil it.
He's not gonna spoil it. He's just
yeah,
saying.
just saying, like, be aware.
Stay away from anything.
When
around-
Watto
Yeah.
we
shows
will
up.
not
Yes.
spoil it. But
But,
seriously, stay away
small
from anything
Watto.
The
around this
lightsaber
game.
comes up underneath. Yeah.
So I'm also to the point where it's like, all right, I finished the story. I have 100% all the planets except for one, and like I still intend
love
to
it.
do
Yeah.
that
So
because
you
I love it
finished
so
it.
much, and I want to stay in that world. And even though like when you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm gonna 100% the map, there are some frustrating moments, but like I love it so much that I'm like jumping in that deep, which is something I don't typically do with games.
Okay, that's exciting
It's
because like,
something you typically do.
That's
with
right,
games,
Tim.
and you're doing it again now. How is
Yeah.
the platinuming experience?
It's great. I mean, I'm where Kevin is, right? Of like, I love this world and I love the gameplay and I love everything about it, so I want to be in it as long as possible. And so it's the rare game where I'm like, I want a new game plus for it, or like I was thinking about like, man, if it was on the xCloud or whatever, would I play it again there? You know what I mean? And screw out that. The platinum right now is good. It's going well. It's weird. I haven't made as much progress as I want. I had Poe in town this weekend, so I was hanging out with him the whole time. And then we had Stadia stuff to do, and then now we're going to London. So I mean, I'm chipping away at it when I can. I think I have maybe 2 maps left to get to 100%. I'm running around trying to find all my seeds, trying to find all that stuff. And it's also the thing of I want to commit to it and platinum it, but I'm actually enjoying the. All right, cool. The way they break it down, like I'm sure you saw it, but I don't know how much you got into it. Of like, sure, there's the chests, right, and then there's the overall 100% of the map, and then there's the percentages for it. They make it really,
secrets.
they make it really obvious where you need to go for what you need to do.
Yeah.
And so when I'm there and I can see how big the area I'm in is, it's all like cool. Like I don't immediately go pull up a guide or pull up a thing to go find it. It is, let's run around, let's try to explore. Have I been back here with all my powers? I'm not sure. So it is that run around, try to figure out exactly what's going on.
I wish there were more things in chess besides cosmetics.
Really?
Like, it's neat, but I know every time I go to a chest, I'm like, this is going to be a thing I'm not going to change because I kind of like my current set.
Dude, that's my thing about it, where I was like, I'm happy they did it the way they did it because I felt it wasn't superfluous crap. That was my thing. Because I am I got a new poncho. I wanted to go see it and do it. And like every time I'd get a new lightsaber part and I'd see a table, I'd stop to screw around with it.
Right.
It wasn't until a very specific moment in the story where I was like, okay, now I'm locked in and this is what it's going to be going forward for me. And so I liked the fact that it wasn't some stupid thing I wouldn't know or piece of lore I wouldn't read necessarily.
Yeah, I agree with the general sentiment. Like, it gets the number of ponchos you get after
ponchos
a while.
are ridiculous.
Yeah, and like meaning
They
I
could
would
have
have
gone
liked
for way more basic
I
outfits.
would have liked more vanity items, and I'm curious: did you want to see that, or are you saying you want to see like a control like system, like mod drops? Like, what would you be looking?
I honestly
for?
like mod drops would be fine. I don't know what I would want in there. It's just when I go to a chest, I'm like, I know what this is going to be, and it's not because I guess thematically, this is my own weirdness. Like, I don't want a new lightsaber because to me, he shouldn't have a green lightsaber yet because he's still a Padawan. Like,
That's fair.
it doesn't make, like, I'm not going to give him a red lightsaber or anything like that. Like, for right now, he should have a blue lightsaber, so changing that up isn't going to really matter to me yet.
Yeah, and you don't find the colors for lightsabers in the chest or anything. You're just at the beginning given.
Yeah, just in general, like, also it's hilarious to me you find this thing deep in an Imperial, like, mine here's a fucking poncho in a, like, treasure chest.
taking the fun out of games. We're gonna go back and break down games over the absurdity of the way some things arrive.
But that's the thing,
but
that,
it's like this
when
game,
you got a laser pointer in Sekiro that points off of your chest when you're targeting enemies. I mean, like,
But like
I'm
thematically,
just
this game
messing
does
with
so
you.
much good. Of like, this makes me feel like a Jedi. Like it is thematically, even though it has the same kind of mechanics as Control, it takes it a totally different direction in how you like gain and recharge your energy, which puts it in a different way. Because like Control, the idea is you're always doing something, straight up. And in Jedi Fallen Order, you need to be like, you're always still doing something, but it's not always offensive. It can be defensive as well, and that's how you like get through.
I think Jedi Fallen Order is an adventure game, and Control is a combat game. You know,
I'd argue they're both combat games, but yes.
This is definitely a combat.
action
I look at
adventures.
this as a
They're
combat
action
game.
adventures.
As somebody that doesn't
Yeah.
dive into those games, this is very much combat. You need to be good at combat to be able to.
You absolutely do.
progress
for
at all.
Yeah, but you also need. Okay, that's fair if you're rating it on how good you need to be. But I was getting at like for me, the combat's like 50% of it. I mean, the other, if even less than that, 45% is combat. The
Really?
other 55% is the exploration and
Action
the wonder.
adventure.
yeah, meaning just the wonder of like exploring the planets and all that. All these moments of fighting, like meaning I'm excited to use my powers.
Well, that's the thing about it right now where I'm at with it, of the, going through and platinuming it, is the idea of like suddenly there's this new aspect of the game. There was before, obviously, of exploration, but now it is very much that I am there, and sure, I'm never thinking about killing the people. I kill them or whatever, and then it is like stand around and look around
you're
and
trying
figure
to
that
get-
up, and like have I climbed up there and climbed there? Fuck no, come down and do the same thing. Like I'll be running around for what? Dozens of minutes with no enemies because I kill them all before I make them respawn or something.
I do think it's funny that, like, as a Jedi Knight, they said there's going to be no, like, Sith moral choice, whatever, in this game. I think it's funny that as a Jedi Knight, I'm basically a Sith. Of, like, I'm just going to keep resting and resurrecting these people at this point.
I just want more XP.
Because I'm going to keep farming
the
them. Like, this Stormtrooper is having the worst, nightmare experience of his life.
When I was trying to get the trophy for hitting them like 3 in a row with a lightsaber, it was the same thing. Yeah, I've like, fuck, that should work. And I respawn them all, respawn these guys. They kept dropping in. Because of the fucking game and how.
It is interesting, like, a lot of games do try to explain that, and at some point, I guess they just gave up. Like, Sekiro doesn't bother to explain why you're just popping everyone again. So, like, Dark Souls is, everyone's undead. No one really dies. Bloodborne's like, we have some, like, weird Cthulhu thing going on here.
Yeah.
And Jedi Fallen Order's like, I don't
Or
know.
a video game, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, meditation.
You know what I mean?
Who gives
But
a
see,
shit?
the thing that I have a issue with the video game enjoy yourself, and this goes to the cosmetic stuff as well. That stuff doesn't bother me, but it does bother me when it's compared to how realistically they treat the ship landing and the checkpoint system and having to get back to the ship, where it's like it's all in real time.
Yep.
It's like there aren't these moments where he's kind of like we're jumping forward. It's like if your ship's over there, you got to get back to your ship. You can't just teleport because they can't teleport. You need to get back there. And when you die and you have to get to the boss again, it's like if the game's going to do that, I feel like there's just little things
great point.
they could have done.
That's a great point.
To make the world feel as real as that does. And again, that didn't really take me out of it because I liked the lightsaber stuff. Like that was definitely enough for me to be like, every time I saw a chest, I was like, please be a fucking lightsaber part. Like I just want to even know what this could look like, especially once you start getting them and realizing what the names are. Where you're just like,
you're like, I was looking for power and control.
I really like this emitter. I want to know what its handle looks like, or I want to know whatever. It's like, you made me care about collectibles. That's awesome. And you also made me not care about ponchos, which sucks because like that should have been something that I was stoked about, but it was pretty clear a couple hours in where I'm like, oh man, I'm not getting another jacket.
Yeah.
Why can't you sit in the cockpit chair until they let you?
Because it goes back to the timing thing. I feel like they're trying to make it feel like things take time to get to the place, which I half appreciate and I half feel is at odds with other elements of the game. That
just
aren't
so
in a distracting way, just in a way that's like, I feel like that promotes you checking the ship out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I want to be there because they're talking while I'm doing that. Like they're having a conversation about the lore of the place I'm going. So I can't like walk somewhere else while they're doing that.
I mean, the easy answer is it's loading, and so they want you to have the freedom to move around while it's loading. And then when it's not loading anymore, they say you can get in the chair.
But
I believe.
Just let me be in the chair whenever I want.
Yeah, but then there's nothing to do.
I do wish the PA system picked up their conversation instead of it getting quiet and quiet.
That would have been cool.
Because it's like, I want to change my lightsaber, but I do want to hear this conversation. And then I don't want to have to wait extra time.
Yeah.
Like
I agree with that, by the way. Like sometimes I'd accidentally even walk just a little too close to the door. So like, sorry, need a minute.
We'll talk about that later. I'm like, no.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I want to keep talking.
No, I was listening. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, well, we landed. I'm going to go onto the ship. Oh, wait, Seer just said something and a choice just popped up, but now I've moved a foot too far and I'll never get the conversation
just had
back.
like a little Hallmark comm speaker, on his
I can't
shoulder,
fucking wait for Jedi Fallen whatever the hell 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's going to be such a step above this one of just like polish and just care and these little tiny things.
Star Wars Jedi greasy money.
There we go, man.
So everybody here playing on console? Is that right?
Xbox One X, yeah.
PS4 Pro.
PS4 Pro.
Oh.
Can I say a few things about it?
Absolutely.
So yeah, like I went from being here and being like, oh wow, this is scratching an itch because I love Metroid Prime above all, and Metroid games and the style of just like being stripped down to nothing and you have to earn this and explore and the wonder of like, oh man, like you almost know what to do right when you see the hanging rope, like you're saying, and you see this other, you're like, well, I know I can push that over, but I don't have that power. And so the excitement of like, I can't wait to come back and explore. So because this game does this, I was excited, but yeah, like almost going back to what Imran was saying, in the beginning I was like, yeah, like it was a little flat in terms of combat and stuff, but I think I intuitively understood. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't have any powers, and I'm waiting to get all this cool stuff. And all I can say now that I finished it, I think this game is awesome. It is an absolute top contender, game of the year for me. I think it's underrated. I think because I played on PC, like I know we talk about this as somewhat of a joke.
Underrated?
Yes, I do.
Whoa.
I think, and here, I'll give you a few reasons. One, I think a lot of people play it on console. And so in that sense, I don't think it's underrated. I think that the technical issues are getting in the way of what they have in front
Oh, man, I've had technical issues. Those are not the reasons
okay,
that
but I think
have
they're
issues.
taken away from it. I think the other part of it is, in addition, so again, I played at 60 frames. I didn't really encounter technical issues. I encountered design issues, like I said, like where I'm like, freaking camera. Or like, God, I slid down this
that
slide
camera really fucking loves the wall.
Yeah. And I ran into well, not like a ton, but enough issues to be like, it's frustrating. But I think the other reason is this is Star Wars, and it is actually Respawn, and it is EA, and there's a lot of expectation for what this could be, like you just said. And I think we all go down that road of like, we all wait for the moment when we get Skyward Sword, and we're like, yeah, like it's Zelda, it's all right, it's good, and then you finally get Breath of the Wild, and you're like, that's what we needed, And anyway, what I'm getting at is I agree with you that Star Wars Jedi 2 Fallen, whatever it is. Star Wars Jedi 2. It's weird to say that because I feel like it needs the colon now.
Just call it the sequel.
The sequel to Fallen Order. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The sequel to Fallen Order, I think could be amazing. But
we might not get a sequel, honestly. It runs out the deal.
I think they're absolutely 6 months into making the next one. I think the game has all of the awesome things. It brought everything together that I love in gaming. And so, anyway, taking a step back. By the time I got to the end, had all my stuff. I had a couple moments that I feel like I have not had in gaming in a while.
Yeah.
Where I was like, let's go. Holy cow. Like an actual sense of like elation. And it is because, and it's why I love Metroid Prime. Like when I played Metroid Prime, I could not believe the curve of progression. It was so smooth. Like you start off with like nothing and you're a bounty hunter with nothing. And it's funny how similar this is. You scan stuff and walk around and little by little you get these new things. And my personal excitement, because again, I geek out over games like this, as you can tell. By the time I got to the top end of the curve, I was giddy I was like, let's go. Like, I was just like so excited to have the moves and the upgrades. Now, of course, there's things that I would change and want more of, but again, it gave me something I feel like I haven't had in a while. And then, no spoilers, but I literally, for an ending of a game, I have not smiled and had this level of I'm not even kidding.
And you're not a story guy either.
I was streaming, and I actually might zoom in, like, no sound on my face. Like, I could not control the smile on my face of the way that I felt.
They did it, man. It's Star Wars as fuck.
Exactly.
Good Star Wars.
And
Yeah.
that was it. And I'm not even like I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan because it's in my blood from being a kid. And so even when I saw the new Rise of Skywalker trailer, I was like, okay, like this is kind of sentimental to me. Like never mind like all the gaffes of what happened in the Star Wars universe that we look on and we're like, yeah, it could be better. I was just so excited that this is coming to an end and it meant something to me. But anyway, in the game, the gameplay itself, though, too, never mind the story parts were awesome at the end, but just the gameplay, the battles with these enemies, you get into these moments where it's all just kind of like cinematic blocking, and they change the structure of like when you're fighting regular enemies, like you can get hit pretty hard. Like that's what's funny about it is you get hit with like a laser from a droid on Grandmaster, by the way, and it's like 70% of your health. You're like, I hate this at times. But when you get into these battles with some of these bosses and it's like, you can do all these cool moves and you can do all this cool stuff. And I was flipping out at how good it felt. And I also, that's where I get into the underrated part. Never mind, for me, they brought together all these pieces of games that I love. And I think that, the sequel is going to be a banger. Not announced yet, by the way, but I just really strongly believe based on how good this is, it'll get there. But they brought all these amazing things together. But then, again, you look at combat like this and how good those fights, I personally think how good those fights feel at the bosses. And I don't know what Star Wars game has done it this well at all. And I think it deserves more credit for all those things coming together despite some of those technical issues.
Yeah, I think I'm that weird.
I love it.
I'm the transitionary phase where the game is now expecting more of me, and I don't know yet that I'm capable of that quite, or at this current moment. Because it's those situations where, okay, there's 15 stormtroopers. I've fought a bunch of stormtroopers already. But this one's hard because I'm trying to fight one while like 3 are shooting me in the background.
And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I just died to a set of people I should not be able to, or should not have died to.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the part where it's frustrating me. But hearing you and Kevin say that like it gets way better after that part.
It does. And I would hope on story mode that it makes it a lot easier. I will say that ironically, I think the combat is some of the, like those moments, the not the boss stuff, all the like littering, littering the landscape with enemies here and there is some of the weaker parts. It's not bad or anything, but it can be sort of annoying and frustrating in the design. And I think when you look at the difference in a boss design versus what happens out there, I'm like, I'm trying to just kill this dumb stormtrooper. And frankly, I actually want to get into a parry fight, but this dumb laser droid is shooting at me and it will not shut up. And so I get caught in this like, okay, you want me to use my powers, but this guy's being annoying. And it actually takes away from the enjoyment of those. And actually, for me, was some of the weakest parts. And on Grandmaster, by the way, what I can say is bosses and stuff I thought were great. One of the bosses was really difficult. One of the more mysterious bosses, you guys know who I'm talking about, was really tough, but it was enjoyable. But I was getting at with regular enemies, like they really ramp up the AI like all of a sudden, and then there's a few moments in the game where they just throw a ton of enemies at you, and frankly, it's annoying on Grandmaster. So
the security droids
are
so funny to me. Where it's,
they're the big floating ones with the
K2SO from Rogue One. They're like,
the ones that just like zip around. They don't even hurt you, do they?
The ones that like grab you.
No,
No, the
from
grab
Rogue One.
Okay.
The bipedal ones that grab you.
Oh, these
and-
are the ones that
the
hover.
humanoid one.
No.
No.
He's
Those are
talking
cool.
about-
They're on 2 legs.
Oh, the big robots.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not Star Wars lore guy. I apologize.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat's like, ugh.
It's so funny because it's like they have their own unique challenge that they have, and if they
Yeah.
grab you, you're in the animation,
Yeah.
whatever. But my God, the pre-canned animation when you kill them.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, why are they so sad? Like they're like,
They don't wanna die. They don't wanna die.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I like that, man. I feel
It's
too
too real.
bad. Like, it's really graphic.
Yeah.
It really is.
I enjoyed the mix-up. There was definitely mobs I could have done without. There's the one in particular where, I mean, no
Towards
spoilers
the
and
end?
stuff. Not even, well, I guess more towards the middle, I'd think, where you have to come out and you eventually have to shoot. It ends with another AT-AT getting
Yes.
dropped in, right?
That was one of
Yeah,
Where I was like, that was like the 5th time where I was like,
yeah.
fucking god damn it. And it was like, I knew in the middle of the fight, because there's dudes with flamethrowers, if I didn't take them out right away, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this fucked.
That one could like the timing can get real bad on you because
Yeah.
that AT will just drop at some point.
Yep,
You don't have to like kill enough enemies.
You're not spawning him.
Yeah, so like there was a point where I was dealing with that droid and the enemy shooting from above and the AT-AT at the same time.
This is my example. It's like, just give us the AT-AT and design that to be the fight, and
Right.
that's it. Like,
Because when I get to that
need-
AT-AT, I'm out of force
Yeah.
power because like I had to use it on everything else at that point.
And I think those are the refinements, hopefully, we would see in a sequel. Because, again, I feel like they were like, let's do this with AT-AT. And then they're like, and we'll put a few enemies here and there. What do you guys think? And they're like, all right, we're focused on boss designs,
Right.
outside.
Yeah.
I think that's the one for me that stands out as a problem. The rest where it was, I was trying to fight like a guard. What do they call them? Not Inquisitors, but like the guys who are all in
which
black
did they
with the
have
purple
double-
dudes. Well, any of these guys, they all have a bracket.
Inquisitor-
The ones- the
Inquisitores
Jedi, I
or-
forgot their name, but the ones that are hunting the Jedi.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Purge Troopers.
Purge
Yes.
Troopers,
Yeah.
thank you. Like when I'd have to take out some, mealy mouse stormtrooper around him, I was fine with it. But I to your point of like, I talked about it last week that I adore this game, and it is because of the moments and the payoffs and the way it all comes, and especially I think the way that the game does make you feel like you are not a Jedi for so long,
Yeah.
except for the moment when you become a Jedi.
And it makes
from
sense of the
there on
story.
out, like, you know what I mean? It was awesome this weekend to see Poe start it, and first off, be blown away. He was just like, we couldn't believe what he's saying, what he's
That
playing.
first
right?
hour is great.
And then, he went and did something, or we went out, and then when we came back, I was like, I'm gonna just grind stuff, you know what I mean? And so for him to see now my thing and like have that, the beginning of the game versus the end of the game, it was like, oh man, like I forgot how far we've come, really, because I'm just like fucking decimating everything. It feels so good.
So you say that you adore the game, but you guessed it'd get an 81. Is that... I understand you're not guessing on your score, but where would you... I know we don't score
That's a
stuff,
great
but are you on a
question.
higher part of the scale at this point?
I'd be higher than 81 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same thing that I think I would get hung up on, right? Where I like far and away, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is my game of the year, like a week removed.
Yeah,
Far
it's-
and away.
Yeah, like I just
It's way up there for me. I
me.
just got to decide.
Me too. I'm 50-50 on it.
And so it's so hard to. It's fun to be us and just be able to talk about games and whatever. And there's no right or wrong. Or if I was sitting at IGN reviewing it, it would be that struggle internally of like, I love everything this game does, but it fucks up these things.
Yeah.
Can
Like,
you
how
look
do-
past these things? What do you give credit
Yeah,
for?
yeah, like-
Oh, but the story, and then...
Do the
Like,
glitches
I can't
take
fucking
away?
grab this rope. Why am I jumping on a thing and still having to hit L2? Why am I the load so long? Why am I floating off the ground?
Yeah.
Can you give even like a 10-point range of where this sits for you as someone who's finished the game now?
I mean, I would be high 80s for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I mean,
in the
that's.
exact
I
same
think
boat.
that's fair. I think when you get to 9
Do you
is when
get
you're
a
like,
9
oh, I
over?
feel like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I love it as a 9+, but I don't think as an objective reviewer. If I'm sitting there talking about the brass tacks of the game and what is broken legitimately and what are bad design decisions
And console
legitimately,
versus- yeah.
that's when it gets in that thing of like my review would be glowing and I'd be like, but I had all these problems, which is why it brings it down
Hopefully
here.
they fix it.
Because 9 is outstanding still at IGN, wasn't that it's fun that I can't remember that anymore.
I thought it's something
Amazing?
that
It's amazing.
I thought it was amazing than Master.
It's amazing, yeah.
But as like a Star Wars fan, I'm so happy there's like a good Star
Oh
Wars
my
game.
God.
As a Star Wars fan, I think this is a 10, honestly.
Yeah.
As a game, I would say it's probably somewhere around the 8.5 range.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that like towards that like the Star Wars-ness of it kind of pushes it forward for me, like higher up than it probably
Totally,
like,
but I mean, here's the thing: higher than it should be. But like, I don't know that that's true.
Yeah, that's not
they
a- that's not
nailed
a bad
the Star Wars
thing.
game. They nailed the experience
Yes.
in video game form. So it's like I give credit to that.
And so many people have tried
Somewhere in the
and
middle,
failed.
if I had to give a score, I'd probably give it a 8.9.
Mm-hmm.
So like, not. I feel like 9's a little too high.
89.
Yeah.
Would you say that was my guess for Metacritic?
There you
That was- I
go.
was joking.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Metacritic though, that's
No,
high.
I know.
You need a lot
I
of
understand the
nines to-
average of
yeah.
like everybody, and I would actually
That's a
wonder
Fire
if
Emblem Three
everybody
Houses.
finished it. I kind of wonder if some people gave up on some of those scores, but anyway, that's what I was getting at. I feel like this game is, and I guess I didn't say it on the show yet. I said it to you guys, but it is about the sum of all parts for me. And I go through this with a lot of different games. Like Death Stranding is the same way. I'm like, these menus are gonna drive me up the wall, and I love this game, Death Stranding, for a lot of reasons. And this game has that. It's got technical issues. I was lucky to play on PC though. I really now hearing about some of these issues, I'm like, holy cow, loading taking that long.
It's awful.
And I'm
Like it's not
on
even consistent.
SSD.
Like sometimes it'll take like 10 seconds, sometimes it'll take 50.
It's crazy to me. So it's really unfortunate. I hope that they bring out a next gen, port next year, Ultimate Editions, whatever, some of this in between time, and maybe that version.
I just hope they fix it like over the next couple of months.
Yeah,
Well,
that'd
that
be my
too.
hope,
That
too.
too.
Yeah.
But meaning I want to see everything running at 60 frames plus, and just working.
It's never going to happen, Fran.
And then, we'll mostly just have to deal with the camera stuff and some of those things, hopefully.
The actual problems.
Do we think they'll really do that? That they'll patch that?
They'll
I don't
patch
know,
some
is there a
things.
patch?
I imagine some of those things. I don't think that those things are real issues.
But I
mean,
also
that
think-
they
yeah.
would knock it down in terms of like how perfect is this game, but like
But the
it did not
loading
get in the
and-
way of my enjoyment at
Okay.
all. I just think that the amount of loading. So it's like I don't think any patches are going to fix that. It's just the design of the game of where loads happen. Like that's what's
Yeah.
inconvenient.
I do think this game came out too early. Like it should, as if it came out in March, I think it would have been like a banger. But obviously,
that they could have smoothed it out.
You can't. Like there are some licenses, and we'll talk about one of those later, that just have to come out when they come out, regardless of quality or all else, really.
But before we get to that, let me tell you about our sponsors. And now that we're back, this is not a sponsor, but best friend out there, Austin, came to the Kind of Funny World Tour meet and greet for San Francisco. And he showed us this thing that he had called, well, I'm not going to say the name anymore. The name's
changed
obviously-
the name.
The name's changed probably for a reason, but it used to start with Switch, and it doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
But it's now called the Fixture S1. Kev, can you bring this up? There's Indiegogo. We've talked about it before. And
Sorry, hold on.
we use this thing all
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
we've talked about this a ton, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is, and every time you see me put up a plane photo, I have my Switch in it, and everybody's always like, "What is it? Where is it?"
So essentially, you can see here, Kev, if you could now pump to me real quick. You put your Pro controller in here, you put your Switch right in there, and it's super versatile. Now, here's the thing: there's now version 2 of this, right? So this is you can get the Founders Edition if you go to Indiegogo right now. We've been using like the V1, and there's a
the
bunch of
prototype,
different
yeah.
differences. The key difference though is you can now charge your Switch while using it.
Oh, nice.
Just because of where
Oh,
the
neat.
holes fall and stuff. And this thing is legitimately awesome. You
I
can
love
use it
it.
as a
Yeah, you can
stand.
charge your controller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can check it out now. $28 for the production model, or if you go down, you can get the Founders Edition for a bit more. You can also get your name engraved on it and stuff. Like right here, it just says Founders Edition. He made me a custom blue one. I don't know if he'll do that for you. But if you ask nicely, maybe you will. Anyway,
It
I just
looks like
he
some of
sent us
them-
the new ones. I wanted to show them off again because they're legitimately
So it's like
freaking awesome.
this, but for a Switch, basically.
Yes, and it's the fact that it has it's built ready for the Switch to just slip in, and it's super good about the angles it can get.
Yeah, you
of
can get to all sorts of different
balancing
angles.
over the controller where it's like not too high.
Something I like is here. If you're an audio listener, I have the clip for the Xbox controller, right? And like the range of motion on this is so limited
got
compared
his
to
phone
that.
attached
to it.
Not to mention, now you can with the Xbox One, but not with, or not comfortably at least with the
Stadia.
Stadia.
Yeah, I
one.
was trying to adjust it
You
just
can.
now.
The other awesome thing about it is you can pop the controller out, leave the Switch in, and then it becomes a stand. So like I'll be
Yeah.
on an airplane table and I'll set it up that way, and then put my controller underneath the table.
Yeah, I do that. Like, that's such an annoying thing for me. Like, on an airplane, I was on the airplane playing Pokemon last week, and I was trying to just play the game. And I had it set up so I had the tabletops things with the stand out and the 2 Joy-Cons. Guy next to me wants to go to the restroom. It's like, I have to just gather all this shit up.
Get all my toys off my table
It
here.
would be actually much nicer to just have, like, one thing.
This thing's great, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll send you one. If not, you can go check out the Indiegogo for the Fixture S1. It's very awesome. But you were talking about Pokemon.
I was talking about Pokemon.
What are your thoughts on Pokemon, man? Because
can't wait to
here's
hear
my
this.
thing. Greg and I are about to get on a flight in hours to go to London.
What? That's why
And-
he's looking at his watch nervously.
and
Not. Be careful.
and I've been holding off on Pokemon to wait for this flight, and it's
Right.
been hard because this one's looking good, and people
it's
are
worth it,
raving
though, too.
about it. Have you played yet?
No. I just mean
Okay.
Okay.
for you to
yeah.
do it all on the plane is gonna be so nice.
I'm stoked. But Imran, you've been playing.
I have just finished the second gym, and I'm in like the area right after that. I am enjoying this game quite a bit. As a Pokemon game, it is making a number of improvements that are in quality of life, graphical, all that stuff. Like it is in every way the next Pokemon generation in a way I wanted it to be.
That's awesome. I have a quick question
There's a
on that.
butt coming. You better be careful. I can tell.
Before we get to
Yes,
it, butt
before we get
here,
to the butt.
Imran,
Yes.
looking back on the last couple generations, have you played all of them?
I have played all of them, yes.
How did you feel about Sun and Moon?
Sun and Moon was fine. I didn't like X and Y, so Sun and Moon became like a return to form. It's like, okay, they're finally getting what that Pokemon this formula is getting a little stale, so they want to change some stuff around on it.
And I appreciated that a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like Sun and Moon really made a lot of choices to kind of differentiate it from the previous games,
Right.
at least in terms of structure and
Yeah,
story.
I don't think all the differentiations worked.
No,
but,
I don't either.
Yeah.
But with Sun and Sword, Sword and Shield so far, is it that style of what you're talking about them making the right changes?
For the most part, yes. Like, the big thing this generation is, Like, so they wanted a bigger, more, I guess, cinematic thing around your journey, not necessarily a bigger story, but like they're making it more of a, because this game is set in ostensibly like Pokemon England, which is the Galar region.
I love where we're going there with this. It's going to be great.
But like, so it's a more like focus on a football kind of thing of what if there was just in a region that was so totally obsessed with the celebrity of the sport of it. And that's what this game is basically about. So they mostly focus the mechanical stuff around quality of life improvements. So, for example, like, you don't have to go to a Pokemon Center to change out Pokemon anymore. If you just want to, like, hey, I just caught this, I don't fucking know, a Choodle, like, in a cave. Like, I want to use this in my team because this is a cave full of, like, rock monsters, so, like, I want to water Pokemon. Like, just, you can just change it out. Like, I have a full team, but I'll just change this guy out for this one. And then that's it. That you don't have to run back to the Pokemon Center for every little thing. That you can see Pokemon on the map now. You can, most trainers are, like, very easy to figure out when you're about to get in their eye range, and then, like, they actually will challenge you when you're in their range. So, like, there's a little silhouetting when you're about to approach them. So it's stuff like that. It is a much more convenient Pokemon game. The problem, I think,
There it
is
But
once. So I didn't realize until now how much of Pokemon's challenge was laid in inconvenience. That, like, for example, like, every 4 trainers on the dot, you will run into somebody who will heal your Pokemon. 4 trainers, then someone, and you don't always have a choice about it. Sometimes you go into a cutscene, and someone in that cutscene will just say, "Hey, let me heal your Pokemon while you're here." So it means that, like, certain things of, like, okay, well, I don't have to. The tedium of going back to the Pokemon Center is gone. I don't have to run back all the way there just to heal back to make a little trip back there. But on the other hand, it means I don't have to care as much
wait, so
anymore.
hold on. How do they heal? What does that even mean?
They just, like, hey, I have items to heal your Pokemon, so let's heal them out.
And you just whoop, and
Yeah,
that's
it's
it?
just like do, then done. Or like, hey, we're running a mobile Pokemon Center outside this thing, and then just like, window goes black, then your Pokemon's healed. Like, there's, for example, right after the first city, there's like a small mine. It's maybe like 4 screens. It's not long at all. But on each side of that mine is somebody who will heal your Pokemon. So I can just go in there, do whatever the fuck I want. I don't have to think that hard about type matchups or which Pokemon's weaker or any of that stuff.
You never did.
I
really.
mean, you never really
to
do.
make it easier, that sounds.
Like, you never
This is a
did.
butt that I'm not liking, Greg Miller.
And you usually love butts.
I love butts.
You never do in a vacuum, but like in a gauntlet of different Pokemon trainers and catching Pokemon, you had to worry about it a little
Every
bit. Like,
once in a while.
yeah,
It's like you'd be going through Mount Moon, then all of a sudden you face some poison shit, you get poisoned, you're like, I'm fucked.
yeah, and you should have had items with you, and like that preparedness was the difficulty, and now it's not. Because you have people that are willing to heal you just wherever you go. So that's like, as you start going deeper into this game, it's like, okay, I understand why you did that. Like, experience share is another good example. You have, now no matter what you do, it's not a toggle. No matter what, all of your Pokemon will get some experience when you battle. On the other hand, it means before I got to the first gym, I had a team of very evolved Pokemon who were like a lot fucking stronger than the gym. So now I'm like paranoid whenever I go anywhere. I'm like, I could battle these things, but I don't want the next gym to be a cakewalk. So should I?
easy.
Should I bother doing this? Like, do I have to?
Grandmaster, Grandfranster level, man.
Do I have to keep like trading my Pokemon in and out? Like, do I not get a consistent team to like, bond with over the course of a game because they got too strong? Or like, my Sobble, which is the starter I chose, the like water Pokemon that's crying. Like, that evolved before I got to the first gym. So most likely on this pace, it'll probably evolve well before like the 6th gym I get to.
Wait, hold on. You were in your second form by the first gym?
Yes, before the first gym.
Jesus.
And so, like, once I get there, like, the pacing feels off to me now. Because for me, a Pokemon game has always been, I'm making this journey with this starter Pokemon. We're going through, and we're all growing together. We're growing as a trainer and a Pokemon team. And then by the time I get to, like, the 7th or 8th gym, I have a stronger, like, fully evolved Pokemon now. Like, it has grown with me as a trainer. Now it's like, it's just going to kind of grow while in the background of, like, whether I use it in battle or not.
Do you think maybe this is you kind of putting in what your prior experiences have been?
Yes.
But, like, do you think that there's a chance that maybe this game turns out to be a bit different of a structure that will allow for some different type of bonding?
I think so. I think I think what they want you to do is like go into the wild area, which is a larger, I don't want to say Breath of the Wild style, but like a big open world thing that is like you can see other people who are online. You can go camp with them, interact with them, and they're all, like larger.
Wait,
more.
you can do this?
You can do that.
I didn't realize that.
You can find strong Pokemon there. You can't always catch them because you're limited by what your gym badge is, but you can find strong Pokemon. So I think they want you to constantly change your team out. I don't play that way, so that kind of bothers me. I think what the game is doing is, we know you've played the same game for the last 7 generations. Why don't we try doing it something different? And I don't like the different way it is. That said, I'm still enjoying the game on its merits of like, okay, it's still a Pokemon game. I'm still going to new areas. I'm still finding a lot of new Pokemon. There's too many old Pokemon for my taste. But granted, my favorite generation was Generation 5 with Black and White, where there were only new Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I love playing it that way. But it's still that thing of like, oh, I get to go through here and like I see a Pikachu in the grass, I'm gonna go catch that Pikachu. Or I see these interesting trainers that are kind of like funny. On the other hand, like they're also not enough. There's some cut corners in places I don't think there should be. Like early on, you meet Team Yell, they're football fans basically, but for a specific trainer. So they're just a jerk to you because you're against that trainer as well, and you fight 4 of them. 2 are one guy, one girl, and then it's the same guy and girl again, but they're different people. So it's like you couldn't come 4 different models for this. Like, why did you put a cutscene with this? And you fight them in a hotel, and it's just a white void in the actual battle arena. It's like, why is it? It's a 3D environment. Just put the 3D environment around here. Size it up a little bit. Like some of the gyms are just green voids or white-blue voids or whatever. Like, by the story,
We're
I'm going to have to go through.
past that at this point.
Yes, we are, and it's ridiculous that this is a license that is bigger than Call of Duty. Why are there 3D environments I'm not battling in?
Yeah.
The ultimate of Nintendo questions.
Yeah.
They have all this money. Why didn't they? If I could just say that about everything. Perfect question. This was I didn't play any of it. I've only dabbled in Pokemon. I never really have made the time, I would say, but I know that I would enjoy it. I played Let's Go, and it was fun, casual Pokemon, I guess. So what I was wondering is folks have grown up. You guys literally have grown up with Pokemon. I saw a lot of commentary about where's the Pokemon for adults? Do we feel like
this is the Pokemon for adults?
Is it? Because
You think?
some folks are. There's the commentary I'm hearing, and do you think this is where we're at? Pokemon is still kind of for kids, right? And it wants to have a learning curve that's doable, not too easy, but also not crazy, or so call it for adult gamers. And this seemed very easy to a lot of folks that I follow on Twitter. And they were like, "Can I have like a more complex Pokemon?"
Remove challenge from the equation, and I think this is totally what the Pokemon for adults, because this is the game that's. We know you're tired of playing the last 8 gens. We know you're 30 years old and you don't have that much time anymore. So let's do this. Let's do this experience.
I thought you meant time in your life.
Okay, that's
You're gonna die soon.
Honestly, why not? Like that same thing. Like,
oh, you mean time in the game? I actually thought you meant like you have babies to take care of or something.
no, that's what I mean. Like
you do mean that.
Like it is.
like,
He interpreted his time in your
These
life.
are all convenience
Sit down,
things.
Fran.
Like these are all things of like. We know you don't want to do all like you're too old for random encounters. You don't have time to play games with those anymore.
Yeah, but kids have no attention span, so I could just say, well, it's for them too. So where's the?
Kids today are not that different from when we were kids, and we had the
played
same
hard
problem.
Stuff. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, but meaning. When frankly, a game like deep RPGs, like WoW, Diablo, you can't just throw kids into something like that. I would say they can handle it. I think once they're like 10 or 12 or whatever the age is, that you really get into like deep mechanics. But that was my question. Do you guys feel like the mechanics are deep enough, or like is it literally a structure change here that might be the problem, or
the mechanics
is the game itself ready for more? Like Breath of the Wild got, I'd say, deeper. That's not a game just for any old kid and Zelda fan.
So
it takes some depth.
That is the problem, I think, with Pokemon, is that there have been so many reinventions of major franchises in the last couple of years, like Breath of the Wild and like Mario Odyssey, that have been like, we're going to kind of upend what people think, and we're going to like make a game that is for those people who have been playing this game for a long time and want to try something different. And Pokemon is not that. Yeah. It is still an incremental improvement for a game series that is long past incremental improvements.
They didn't do that.
They did not revolutionize it. What they did is they made it a lot more
Evolve.
convenient. They did not evolve it.
See what you did there.
Yeah.
I
Some
like it.
stones. No, so it's interesting that you're saying that you think this is the game for adults, the Pokemon
Right.
game. And I get what you're meaning in terms of like the structure changes and stuff, but there's one thing Andy told me that is not spoilery. That
porn scene.
really turns me off to that idea of this being the adult one, because I'm like, you're telling me the rival still kind of sucks and is just way too nice and is not really your rival?
The rival does suck. His name is Hop, and it is very disappointing for me that we finally have a Pokemon game where this is a very personal thing of there's an Indian or a brown main character, and that's Hop. Early on, he is such an asshole. Not even an asshole, like not an asshole. He's very like, oh, well, my brother's the champion. So every dialogue scene you have with him, he says like, my legend begins here and we're gonna do well, and like he keeps throwing the same 3 Pokemon at you and keeps being surprised that you're using a water Pokemon and his fire Pokemon. It's like, shut the fuck up, Hop. Like, stop, because like they kill the pacing too of him constantly just explaining the world to you and all that stuff, like you're a fish out of water, which you're not. But I've heard that he gets better as the game goes on.
I really hope, because that to me, I feel like it sets the tone for the adventure that you're on. Where I feel like Pokemon, like everyone talks about like the G1ers, where it's like, oh, you're just nostalgic for what you originally played and stuff. But it's like for me, I feel like Gold and Silver, the second gen, being a direct sequel to Red and Blue.
Yeah.
Your rival was a bad person. Like in the first game, it was cool where he's like kind of your like a brat, but like. In Gold and Silver, they were straight up like a thief. They were like a bad person. They kept fucking things over as you're going through. And Team Rocket being there, doing some real evil shit. And I feel like they just totally more and more got away from it. And some of the teams got into this like intergalactic, like weird ass stuff that could end the world. So sure, that's bad.
It's definitely not that this time. Now they're just football fans.
Which is cool. But like to me, it's like all of that sounds rad and so great. But then it's like your rival should be...
So you do run into a guy occasionally named Bede. I think it's a guy that is like, he was sponsored by the actual like corporate leader who's in charge of the Pokemon League in Galar, who might be evil. I don't know where the game is going with this, because if he's not evil, then it's a really fucking weird pro-corporate message this game has. But Bede is an asshole to you in a way that almost makes no sense.
I just want you to treat me like shit, man. I just want me to like want to beat you, and like I don't want when I beat you to be like, oh shucks, man. You're really
he's not
good.
like that.
How'd you do it?
He's like, you'll never beat me, which is weird because I've beaten you twice already. Why the fuck are you like this? But
Hop.
yeah, well, not Hop. This is Bede. Hop is like, oh wow, we both got. Hop is like questioning of it, like, hey, we both have 2 badges. Why the hell did you beat me again? Like, why am I not good enough? I'm hoping like it kind of like goes through.
I want him to have a heel turn. Wow. I want a heel turn for sure.
Can't wait
Yeah.
for Tim's hot take.
We'll
Fresh
see.
from
Yeah.
We'll see, man.
Bloody lunch.
It's a good-
I don't have too many expectations for this game.
It's an enjoyable
I'm excited
game.
to play it, but
No?
it's been the same for the last couple gens of Pokemon. It's like I was most excited going into Black and White because we knew they were new. We knew it was going to be on it. This is like, all right, cool. Pikachu gets big.
Yeah.
Here's another
Spoilers, fuck.
here's another mechanic that they're not going to bring back in the next game.
Right, and I'm not like, it's a cool effect. I'm not sure I like it that much because it's like they change all the moves. So it's like, oh well, I made this really like decent thing of I like these moves for what they do. And it's like, oh, I'll just throw the strategy away for 3 turns and you use the strongest move you can on the other enemy. It's like, okay, well that was neat. That I would have liked a actual hard gym battle.
So we're definitely going to talk more about Pokemon Sword and Shield in the coming weeks.
What's your prediction? You think it clicks with me? You think this is my Pokemon?
Clicks with you? I don't know.
Well,
The
it's
sports
very
stuff, maybe, man.
It's very helpful. I think that it's just like, all right, cool. We got 12 hours on a plane.
Yeah,
What are
no,
you gonna
I
do?
think
Yeah,
the
you know what I
timing's
mean?
right for it for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, we'll see. We definitely will see. But
Plus,
Greg,
you're going to England when playing
yeah,
a game.
it feels right.
It's about
you know? Let's
You
go.
want a fish and chip, Pikachu, do you?
fish and chippery.
But Greg, before we go, I do want to talk about Stadia and xCloud.
The streaming future is
You got it in
here,
front of
Tim.
you.
I have them all in front of me. All of them. Because I did remote play tests today, too.
Whoa,
just to make sure.
dude, holy crap.
Because I know you're going to come in, you're going to say, give me the
got
dirt,
this,
Greg
got you.
Give me the
Miller.
dirt.
What do you want to know, Tim?
I want to know a lot. I want to know. So let's start with Google Stadia because
Sure.
I feel like that's the one that is most widely available.
Just
I
launched.
guess,
Yeah,
even though
yeah,
it's
you
also
don't-
Founders
not
Edition.
widely
Exactly.
available.
Yeah, my Founders Edition that launched on Tuesday got here today on Thursday. Great.
You know what? Actually, forget that. I want to give me your pro and con of all 3.
Oh, wow.
One
okay.
pro, one con that are the overalls.
We should have a show called Pro and Con.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Okay, cool.
Someone
Yeah.
probably already does.
Well, now
No,
we'll
when
have
we
it,
spell
though.
con, K,
Kind
K,
of
N.
funny pro
And then we'll
con.
We
have
should spell Con KHIN.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I'm
oh,
And then it's
see, I
you
thought you were
doing-
talking about like con, like CON.
Yeah, no.
So
No,
we're
no,
gonna
it's a
need
play on
like
words.
Alfredo, pro gamer, my brother,
Yeah.
I get it now.
XCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so then, grid call here.
Quick
Tim.
shot. You got a flight to catch.
No, we're not.
I'm worried about it now.
We're fine on
Okay,
time.
okay,
Don't worry
okay.
about
We're gonna be
it.
okay.
So the Pro on Google Stadia, it works. I think that's the thing.
Bro.
Well, I mean, like, no,
It is
like
a
we've
breath,
gotten to
real
this
bro.
thing, and everybody's has been the question of like, what is all this going to be, and how is it going to work, and will it work, and yada yada yada. Google Stadia works. Like, I don't think it's as advertised in a lot of different things. I think there's a long road ahead of it on a million different things as well. What's going on?
Do you have to plug this thing into the phone?
You do, yes.
Is that the only way the controller
If you are
works?
not aware that the
Bluetooth does not
Google
work
Stadia
yet.
controller is currently only wireless when it's used with Chromecast. Everywhere else, it needs to be directly plugged into.
But it is
This
coming.
is what I'm talking about. A long road for Google Stadia, right? Yeah, but it works. It would be the Pro there, right? In terms of screen to screen. Fran, you played on. Had Destiny going back there. You played a little on the computer.
Wi-Fi,
Then we
Chromecast,
disconnected
or
it. We put the
Chrome
phone on it. You were playing on the
on
phone.
your
You
Mac
picked
laptop.
up where you left off.
It's not a bad controller. The D-pad's not great, but
Yeah, well, that's going around these years.
But it is working. Yeah, you see
the con
potential.
is everything else. What a disaster of a launch. What a disaster of a launch, and not having your features ready, and not having your messaging ready, and pissing off your core fan base, and
Yeah, I don't
seeing
have
the
it.
Stadia Reddit turn on itself. The fact that on launch day I got my founder's code finally at like 2 p.m. Thursday we
Still
got the
waiting.
device. You still don't have anything, right?
Nope. Shipped.
But you got your code, right? Or did
Nope.
you not get your code even?
it's shipped
See?
from Mountain View. Why is it taking so?
Did you even get your code?
Yeah, I don't know how deep. The short of it is, I did order on my own.
Yeah.
You know, my own in September, my Founders Edition, and it just wasn't on the way. I also reached out as a member of the press to try to look for a solution, and nothing really has come up there. But
Theoretically, shouldn't they just have unlimited codes to give you?
Yeah, theoretically.
yeah, but from
Theoretically, when you got charged, they should have sent you your code.
Let me at
Right
least
here.
say this. From a consumer standpoint, the launch is absurd to me that for a cloud product, yeah, you couldn't at least just send me a code that if I wanted to try it on my PC and log into my account, I could do that. And the fact that it's a total tire fire from my perspective.
100%.
It's insane to me that they're like, this is the future. It's in the cloud. Google, that's all they do is make apps in the cloud. That's all I needed. And like, I bought it months ahead of time and you have a fulfillment problem. It's crazy. So putting that aside, because I don't know, maybe they want you to have the controller and they're just not ready, but I'm
They don't know
super
what the fuck
upset
they're
about
doing.
that.
I think the answer is they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Very much looking forward to using the service in optimal, environment. So I couldn't even review
What's
it.
crazy is like they should they've rolled out other products.
That's what
Yeah.
it's absurd.
lots of other products that work well.
Remember too, like the team they built for
Something's
Google
wrong.
Stadia is a bunch of people who've worked in
Oh,
games
yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Right.
Phil
Been here
Harrison knows what he's doing.
He knows how to launch products.
He's actually, I don't think he's had any responses here. Yeah, I don't think he's had any
Does he?
responses on it's something major is going on internally that they totally scuffed launch.
Yeah.
Putting that aside, it does work.
So those are the pros and cons for that.
Not
for
a way to win over game fans, by the way.
xCloud, I mean, the pro is that it's Xbox. It's
just in beta, right?
Yeah. The con for I think it's easier with xCloud. The con is the fact that it's beta and it's not available to everybody.
Yeah.
The pro is that it's so fucking impressive. Like it is like if this had
xCloud?
everything going right now, then that
So-
would be a game changer in terms of me wanting like for this England trip of like shit. Do I bring it? Because maybe I want to play some Borderlands 3. Like if it was all working right now, which
Does
it's not
xCloud-
right now. It's 50 games. It doesn't have it. Borderlands 3.
Does it support every game that you have?
Not yet. That's in 2020.
Okay,
The
but it will
announcements
at some point.
The announcements at XO19 were in 2020. It'll support your library, your personal library, and it'll support Game Pass.
Okay.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And that'll
If
be
they
the
fulfill on
That's a
that-
killer app, like honestly.
that's what's so interesting and weird. We've been talking about this race between Stadia and xCloud for so long, and now that we're actually out of the gate on Stadia, but with xCloud making its promises the days before the actual real launch and a review embargo, they have outmaneuvered, outfoxed Stadia on every aspect so far. Now again, you asked me about performance before we came on and stuff, and I was like, I'll get on there, right? It's such a crapshoot because of the different scenarios, and I don't know what were our ups and downs at that moment, right? Stadia, I've had plenty of games chug, get framey. Destiny feels super laggy. Again, this is not apples to apples because Destiny, I'm playing a multiplayer game, so it's not a single player experience or anything
Yeah,
like
it's
that,
got
right?
netcode as well as the.
xCloud, I have not had that at the same spot at my same desk going from between them.
What games you playing on?
On xCloud, I've played Gears. I started Gears 5 finally, and I was like, shit, this feels awesome. And then I wanted to do another first-person shooter, so I did Borderlands 2 on it. And Borderlands 2, I thought, ran phenomenally. That's where I had that real gut check moment of like, fuck, like if this had Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 3 ran like this, it would have been that thing. Like I could see all the dominoes in my head of like, I should have fucking started on Xbox instead of PlayStation. I should have, but we're not there, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so anyways, though,
PC.
but drinking the Kool-Aid then, right, on xCloud and how well Borderlands was running is when I popped up the PlayStation controller, busted my iPad out of my travel bag and put it up and got on remote play to play it back at my house. Because that's always the thing of whenever I talk about how I'm excited about streaming, people are always like, you have it right now with remote play. And I'm always like, yeah, but the connection and the fact that it's my Wi-Fi to the satellite in the sky to my home's Wi-Fi to my local PlayStation.
Is that
4.
not what the Xbox one is then? Like I assumed it was using your Xbox.
No,
Okay.
xCloud is just talking to an Xbox in the sky. I'm cloud streaming the same way. I'm same Stadia, but it's xCloud.
So in the
Remember, they
future,
have
when
that
it
option.
when it does use your library, that will be using your Xbox, though, right?
No.
No, it's all in the
You have that option for
Okay.
local play, but when you do it, no, it's up in there.
Well,
Okay,
they also
that's
have the
interesting.
option. If I forget, they also remember. That's why it's confusing. They said you will be able to use your Xbox as a server in the future if you want.
Yeah.
But that's like if you're having the problems in the sky.
Okay.
But
yeah.
then
But
maybe
right now,
maybe that's
no.
what you
Right
think.
now,
it's
right,
all in the sky.
What I'm
xCloud
talking,
is,
like again, like xCloud is the real
know,
fucking
Azure?
deal. And who doesn't know Azure? xCloud is the real fucking deal so far. And again, this is what we go back to with Stadia. Like, why didn't you say beta? Why didn't you say early access?
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
xCloud is also, it's beta, it's early access. So there's not as many people on it. There's a bunch of different things. I did try to start State of Decay, and it totally was like, okay, cool, and jumped in, boom, 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 and then just like stayed on the screen forever and crashed. So I'm not saying like, oh my god, it's perfect and everything's fine. I'm running into those issues, but like, I'm already so much more confident in this than I am in that.
And it's a beta. Look at the difference in expectation.
Totally.
That's what, it was the first thing I said. I'm like, I get for a marketing reason why you're calling it a Founders Edition, but wow, that really blew up in your face. Now, if you had just called it a beta, I would have been like, okay, early access beta. Like I would have actually excused a lot of this.
Pros
That's
and
the
cons
state
though
of
for remote play though, because I jumped over remote play, right? The con, of course, or the pro for remote play is that it's already there, it's already going, it's already on a million different devices, right? Because it's already PCs, it's already Macs, it's already iOS, it's already Android.
I couldn't do xCloud because I only supported Android for the
Exactly,
beta.
right? And that's the whole thing of like there's all these different things going on, whereas PlayStation this is a thing that's out now and you can get into it. The con is, again, sitting there in the same place I was running xCloud, where I was playing Borderlands 2, booting up the PlayStation 4 from home, and it worked. I got in there, playing Borderlands 3 on it. There was more artifacting. There was more lag. Again, it was playable. Like, if I needed a fix of Borderlands, it was ready to go. But whereas xCloud, Borderlands 2, again, different game, this feels like Borderlands 2, right? Maybe with you know how it is. You
40
feel
milliseconds,
it, but it's not like it's killing me. Borderlands 3 was like, okay, this is the lesser experience, and like, do I want to toss the controller in my bag? And let's even say the hotel internet was doing as well as ours. Would I have had that same experience? Would it be, Mallow on Takedown dropped today. I want to play that, but I don't want to play that in a less than ideal way. Like, I don't want to do that kind of thing. Whereas xCloud, I think I'd have a shot at that actually working. I think remote play is, okay, cool, that's
slowest
fine.
of the
Yeah,
bunch.
but xCloud is the winner today in terms of all the tests I was running.
So with that, Malcontent Ronan writes in and says, given xCloud includes Game Pass, which itself includes all first-party titles, does this mean one could reliably sign up for the service and access most of, if not all, Scarlet exclusives without actually buying the console? That doesn't feel like an oversight.
Well, there's a lot to that question.
Reliably is a very operative phrase, a word there. Like,
Well, wait though, isn't he just saying like, I don't have to buy Scarlet necessarily because I can just play it in the cloud? You're going to get a different looking game because it's not Scarlet in the cloud. Just for clarity, right? I mean, I don't know what they're running on, but it's the same problem with Stadia. I think people are going to be very surprised that they're like, I'm getting a 4K PC in the cloud with the latest RTX 2080 Ti, and I'm like, no, it is not that set.
well, they think that because that's what Google tells them.
Right.
Yeah,
But
exactly,
again, it's
yeah.
not Scarlet in the cloud. Just for clarity, it's servers in the cloud that are
Well-
going to run a Scarlet game, and we'll see.
We'll see. I mean,
It's
when
not
they get
gonna
there,
render like Scarlet. I don't know that. I just,
Yeah.
I think the point is, and Tim, you talked about this world is we might live in a world where like Halo Infinite's coming out on Xbox One as well as that. It's like you can play it on either, and so right in the middle could be xCloud performance from the cloud. But you get my point. It's not the same.
to the long and short of it, though, xCloud doesn't include Game Pass. Xbox in 2020 will support Game Pass.
Right.
So you would already be
You'd
giving
have
them
both.
their money for Game Pass. Right now, if you got into the xCloud beta, you jump in, there are 50 games there that are free. They want you to test, they want you to play, they want you to do the different stuff on. For me, jumping into State of Decay, State of Decay 2, a game that I did put a lot of hours into, I jump in and my save is there. It
And
is
you
Xbox.
don't need an Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's-
that's how I think the question
that's
was.
crazy.
And so I'm talking I was popping achievements today in Borderlands 2 because I always played on PS3 and PS4. To his question though of then when Game Pass is here, xCloud is here, and Scarlet games start dropping on Game Pass, yes, exactly. That is what Xbox is promising and talking about. Is that you'll be able to play those games on there. To Fran's
Nuts.
point,
Right.
well they won't look, I'm sure, as good as running them locally, but
they won't.
I don't think that's. I think that's streaming in general for a long time.
Right. But that was my point is like, yeah, they've already said they want you to be, you don't need to own an Xbox to play these games in the cloud, an Xbox One right now. And so, yeah, like that's what we're moving towards.
I mean, that's
think-
just crazy because it's like obviously
hard to
it's going to
grasp.
look better when you have it local,
Right.
but that's like talking about 4K Blu-ray versus 4K streaming on Netflix.
That's right, it is.
But it's like, but if that's the difference we're talking about,
I always rate the movies are 24 frames a second normally. It's
I mean, it
much
gives people the option too, because like, let's say you do care a lot about how a game looks locally.
I
You
do.
can just buy the box.
Yeah.
Or like you're someone who lives somewhere like they've not solved the ISP problem. None of these services have, and that's going to be a problem until ISPs get their shit together. Of like, how do I do this without running up my entire Comcast bill? And it's
That's the
buy
thing we've seen with
box.
Stadia, right?
Yeah.
Where they're talking about like an hour of using Stadia.
much data
how
you
many
100,
gigs,
100 megs a minute was the last thing
Yeah.
I saw, which is
Yeah, I'm more in Greg's camp of I love the dominoes start falling for the convenience.
Yeah.
Just the idea of like I needed to log in to Sea of Thieves, but by the way, if you're watching live today before November 22nd, you log in, get a Gears ship. But like that's something I always remember when I go to bed. I'm like, if I had the controller and xCloud sitting next to my bed, holy cow, so cool. And I'd probably end up playing Sea of Thieves for like 30 minutes, and I'd be gaming in ways that I just wouldn't today because I don't have that.
Right.
That's what I'm looking forward to. I am not looking forward to setting up my 4K OLED, the latest Scarlet game, like you're saying, and live streaming it without the Scarlet because I want the
so
absolute
that's because
fidelity.
you are going to have a Scarlet to do that
Right.
though. But what about
but that's because
what
I
about
want
the
the
Poes
fidelity.
of the world? Greg's
Yeah.
friend Poe.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying that is the point, Tim, right? Like, I want the fidelity,
Yeah.
and there's going to be a difference. And I've seen it with Stadia, by the way. I think that is the biggest con for me is compressed video.
I just think it's crazy that they know that and are still doing this where it's like, what is the point of buying the console on a grand scale?
Yeah.
well, they don't
mainstream?
want you to buy
Because-
the console though. Like the console costs them a lot of money to make and produce, and they lose money on the
That's not
sale.
true. They make a small margin, but you're right. Ultimately, it's
They want
like
you to
they
pay
say,
for the
it's-
games and pay for the services.
It's the Razer handle and it's the Razers. They want you to buy the Razers,
Yeah.
which is the software. So absolutely.
like it's
And
not that like they're not going to pull the console from your hands, but if they could get you to buy just all their stuff without buying the
Right.
expensive box, they'd be fine.
Yeah,
with
and the
it.
point is, it should, with any luck, it opens up 50 million new gamers that wouldn't have touched it otherwise. And
Right.
that's the difference: is you go from a game that sells 2 million to games that sell 4 million all of a sudden without the box, and now that's where the bucks are.
I mean, it's that, and I think it's the idea that it's a weird niche thing where, explaining it to Poe, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know if he would ever pull the trigger and jump, right? But as
From
we've
console or
jump
hardware.
to like understanding what that is and wanting to do it. You know what I mean? I feel like I pull him in every new generation. Usually, I'm
I
the one
mean,
who buys the
he's
console.
more like, I want the box. That
No,
type
he's
Right.
more of just like not paying that close attention to video games.
But so I
Yeah.
think that's definitely right now with the xCloud's in beta, and there's Xbox Live, and there's Xbox Game Pass, and whatever.
Yeah.
But when you can just get Xbox Game Pass,
Yep.
and it's an app that you just open on your phone,
Yeah.
and then there's just a library of games that looks like Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just choose one, and you click in, and you're playing the game.
I mean,
Right.
I think again, you can't undersell. That's awesome and that's cool and that's a step, right? But I do think that if whoever nails this for us, the hardcore gamers, for the people watching this who are crazy about video games, like legit, this makes me. If this was all running right now, I would have played Borderlands on this
On
because I would have.
Xbox
Yes,
instead of PlayStation.
because I
You would've
would
played it
have.
on your
That
phone?
is really such a key thing to think about, is that Greg Miller would give up trophies to be able to play it on the go. I'm not being an
I'm
asshole.
not. That is 100%
It's
the
like
point
that,
I'm making.
that means
right?
that it is no longer just an exclusives game of I'm going PlayStation because I have exclusives or whatever.
And so,
it's like,
and again,
I'm going to
this
play
is,
this here.
This
for
is
this
back
reason.
to what I was talking about earlier when Stadia was like, what's going to happen and how are they going to do blah blah. Because I was all like, well, if Cyberpunk was launching on Stadia day and date with the others, there'd be a real conversation. I'm
Isn't
in the
it?
fucking xCloud. No, they were fishy about it. Where it's
Okay.
coming, but they didn't say. And correct me, you're wrong if I've got this wrong, but I've said it enough on enough shows where somebody would eat my ass by now about it. But it is that thing of now it is okay. I'm in the xCloud beta. When in 2020 is Microsoft turning the key and saying whatever games you have, you're good to go on? Because again, that's where it gets. To be Jedi Fallen Order. I would I want to platinum and I want to do it. If that was on here, I'd be playing it again, and it would be that thing of, all right, cool, I'm just gonna explore the maps right now and go get the thing and do the thing.
20 minutes before bed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I'm straight up watching you play Sea of Thieves right now.
He said it. I've never started Sea of Thieves. I'm like, I'll log in and get the ship. Well, how do I get it? Is it just gonna pop?
Literally, it just says as long as you play, you'll get it delivered to you later. So
okay.
I think as long as you log in, you get. But this is it. I mean, yeah, it is crazy. I mean, we all know this is where the future's going. So I don't think
there's a lot of people who don't like that idea and like.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's the reason I think Xbox.
Same as why I didn't like Netflix.
It's awesome to see it all actually happening. The ball is rolling down the hill finally. Where the reason, I've talked about it on so many shows, right? That Xbox has been just building this foundation with all these awesome programs and all these awesome things. And now we're here and we're watching Google fucking fall out of the cabin and roll down the hill, and they don't know what the fuck's going on. And Xbox is literally like, this is a pillar of who we are. It's not all of us. This is not what defines us, right? Like, it's a leg on the stool. Like we always talk about when we launched Kind of Funny. We have different revenue models. Like, this is the thing that suddenly makes it so much more attractive to me. For you, this is such a great thing. For you, Tim, right? It was that you love 4K, you love beautiful visuals, you had the great TV, the great sound, the great thing. That was never what was going to sell me to play more games on Xbox. Being able to take my games with me no matter what, to be able to get this experience where I'm going through and doing the mundane tasks of gaming, of logging in and getting the thing and getting back out. Like
quick sessions without, having to go all the way back to sit down. Yeah.
Streaming as an option, I think, is probably where this market succeeds because it is not something that's suitable for everyone, whether by preference or just logistics. But I think, like, for us in this weird San Francisco video game hardcore bubble of, like, oh, actually, this works out super great. This makes a whole lot of sense. And actually, it can be a determining factor in what consoles and what services we pick up next time.
Yeah. Instantaneously hopping into games is really cool, too. But I was going to say, I don't think, as well, many people's storage is getting cheap. Downloading a game, I got no problem with. So same idea. If Games Pass, if I can download it anywhere,
they're gonna get
and I don't need to stream it.
They are going to get bigger, but so is that. But the thing is, though, the downloads, that's coming. Like, that's going to be a functionality that.
But Stadia is not doing that. So if Xbox offers that, again, like, I'd be more than happy to start streaming the game. I'm like, I just want to hop in and check it out. And then maybe while it's downloading, and like, man, what a world that would be too.
Right.
Like, imagine starting a game you forgot to buy at launch day, if xCloud offers this at all, I don't know. But you just start playing because it's just streaming, you're like, cool. And then it's like, oh, you finished downloading 30%. Do you want to switch over to your hard drive version or whatever? And
well, this is what was interesting too. Schreier put out a tweet and all this Stadia stuff, right? Where I forget, it was going back and forth. Somebody was talking about Stadia and bagging on it. And he brought up how, I forget how we got there, but for PlayStation 5, what he's hearing, right, is that it's going to be no loads, play while you download what you want. So like
they basically said that out loud.
Yeah, and so it's like we're moving to, like, I say this all the time, but like the next fucking 2 years are gonna be 2020 is gonna be fucking awesome of what the fuck is gonna happen.
Ending this generation, moving to the next generation might be the most interesting moment we've ever had in video games. And on Half-Life VR.
It's huge.
It's kind of what we were talking about with Pokemon, with the idea of the gaming industry for adults is about things getting more convenient. Of like, well, I don't want to go out when the game release date, I don't want to fucking go to Best Buy or Toys R Us or whatever and pick up a copy of the game. I don't want to wait for it to download. I just want it to exist. I want this to go fast. I want to just start streaming, whatever. I don't have time for the rigmarole that goes around this bullshit all the time. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the decision is. 'Cause like the next step of streaming is not streaming gets better necessarily. It's what can you integrate into streaming to make it a better value add. And the stuff like the Game Pass stuff, and like I'm assuming eventually Stadia's going to have to just go subscription fee.
They're going to have
because they know how bullshit this is right now. Like that's going to be the stuff that's interesting to me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Great conversation. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot more about this streaming stuff.
I can't wait to hear you talk about Pokemon in a few weeks.
Oh, I'm stoked about that too. But you can go to kindoffunny.com/Gamescast. You're wrong to let us know if we got anything wrong during this episode. We will correct it later. But until then, I love you.
We all love you.
We do.
There we go. Let's do a quick little post show
here. That was a spicy episode. I like it.
Good.
Spicy.
Oi, Governor.
I like the spice.
Oh, my Pokeballs rolled out.
Don't they hate you for it, Greg, over there?
Oh, yeah.
And I know you're intentionally doing
I
a bad
can't wait to walk off the plane and scream the C word, because you can say it wherever you want over there.
Dude, Brad, you should see Greg in London. It is excessive.
You know what? I'm going to pick up a
He
ticket.
says it more than any other word that any human being ever says.
Wait, says what?
The C word?
Really?
They love it over there. They love it.
Yeah.
You can't say it here.
Every
He says
time
the
during
C word. We're
RTX,
there.
They
London,
don't
I'd
see it as a
scream
misogynist thing in England.
God, man.
They see it as part of their culture.
Yes.
Look at me go. I'm Sea
I mean,
of
it is
Thieves.
part.
First time I've played Sea of Thieves, everybody. Now, Fran, where do I get my special shit?
I was just
Give me
thinking
that
of,
Gears thing.
you watch Arrested Development, Greg?
Yeah.
Just like all the like what do they call the isms over there? But the English isms but anyway,
British
just,
isms, yeah.
British isms. That's the word I'm looking for. But Buster's talking about like going to visit over there, and like he starts using all those like words that we just would
Yeah.
not use over here.
Bin,
can't say.
I'm proper knackered.
He's like, I'll put a fag in my mouth and think of you.
Yeah.
It's like that's what they call like cigarettes, and it's
Yeah.
like it's
You
amazing.
can't say that here. Keylog says,
He
Mikey,
said, but he
my
did
boy.
it where he acted it out. So
Yeah,
it made
So
he
then it
was
was
over
okay.
there. Yeah, he was acting it out.
I think this would be great for single player, but multiplayer like fighting games. I don't think I can ever do reliably streaming. I will say if I could do Final Fantasy 14 wherever I want, though, that would be dope. And I think that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
finding the
Certain
right
games.
experiences that work. Like
Like Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is a great
Would be
one.
perfect,
Pokemon
yeah.
would be a great one. You know, like there's so many different things that I think are going to be really exciting over there.
Yeah, that's the piece I've not figured it out. I'm like, I don't really want to hook up my Stadia and play it outside of testing it, right? There's no, if it had an exclusive game, but even then,
does,
I'd be
it has
like,
guilt.
I play PC,
Yeah,
so I'm
guilty. You don't want to play.
I'm even on that edge of like, oh, but I'm happy to play a Stadia game and stream it, but I'm not going to set anything up. I just want to play on my PC. So, I mean, I guess that's the point of Stadia is like you don't have to, but I'm like, I can't do that. So there's no exclusive games.
That's why I think
Nothing to show.
my impressions of it are just like so limited. Where it was like, all right, cool, I'll turn on Guilt, and I was like, Guilt's not fun. I don't like this game. And then I was like, I played some Destiny. I'm like, I don't want to play Destiny right now. You look at everything else. I'm just like, you got nothing I want to play. So like,
Right.
why would I hang out? Whereas like this at least has Gears. I'm like, oh cool, I need to play
same
Gears
with
still.
even Apple Arcade, right? Has
yeah.
like unique, interesting stuff to play, and the Stadia lineup is even though they increased it to 27.
But I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, you hit the Xbox button and like remote play, you have to do a bunch of workarounds because like it doesn't work Bluetooth with your PlayStation controller. But hit this and it's just the normal Xbox thing. There's Bobby Amos playing games right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm there.
oh, the Bluetooth works for the Xbox controller.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
That's
perfect.
crazy.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, we are going to get on the way to
Gotta catch
London.
the
I see
flight.
Mark Freeman in the chat there. We'll be seeing you soon, man. We'll be seeing a whole bunch of you soon. Exciting times. London, get ready. Prepare yourself for a lot of C words.
I'm gonna be saying the C word left and right. Take me to the Queen.
Does that imply you're calling the queen?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
She's
Bye,
my
guys.
favorite C word.
All right.
You can cut Barrett.